walls of time are breaking down. You need to listen. The only way to save the universe. Watch Type 40.
Yes, tune. Music Maestro. It's time for Type 40 Live, your live stream Doctor Who magazine show, the live stream Doctor Who magazine show, materializing here on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook, and whichever platform, time stream or time zone you're joining us from. Welcome. Yeah, this is Type 40 Live. We hit your screen in real time with inter-relative, extra-dimensional conversation. God, that's a mouthful. And always in front of a live chat full of friends, fans, and companions just like you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Just 5 weeks now till the anniversary date, till the 60th anniversary of good old Doctor Who. And this is the place to celebrate it all, to chew through it and to speculate and to have a good old laugh, a lot of old toilet humour, all that kind of thing. But yeah, the good news is, aside from all that, we're going to be looking across the whole Whoniverse, as always, both on and off screen, or even on the radio this time. That's a promise and a half, isn't it? I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, and whoever you are, we'll find out about all that in a couple of minutes. Thanks for being here. Whether you're on Rumble, on Facebook, in the Type 40 Facebook group there, hello guys, or whether you're on YouTube, the world's largest streaming platform, welcome. Make yourselves comfortable and unblock your ears, put your feet up, and get ready for more Type 40 Live. I've got a bunch of people to bring on. I'm happy to say they're here. I don't know what they make of it all. I don't know if they've had a good week or not. It's been a quiet week. Doctor God. And yes, this is this, if you've been as out of the loop as I think a couple of people have, this will be music for your ears, everybody, and glory too for the eyes, as always. If you're joining us there, you can hear us too as we recap, re-listen, and review the sounds and the sound bites from the first event. It's the opening shots that have been fired in the official Doctor Who 60th anniversary, the Doctor Who at 60 musical celebration, and we'll get onto that in a couple of minutes. I'm certain I've got people to bring on and greetings to be dished out. Who shall I grab first? Yeah, because obviously this on Type 40 Live, each and every show is a sort of an orchestra of opinions, isn't it? We've got our own sections too. Who's first? Well, I definitely... Now, let's talk about the brass first, shall we? Now, we know he's got a ton of baseball caps. I wonder if he's ever worn a pork pie hat and what he's like. Has he ever played a saxophone? I think there's only one way to find out. It's ask the mega geek, Ian David Diaz.
I haven't played a megaphone, and I don't have a pork pie hat. No, not at all.
Oh well, you could get one. You could. You favour the baseball cap, don't you? You favour the baseball cap.
Oh, definitely favour the baseball cap. Yeah, definitely. I've got loads up there. Look, up there, all kinds. Apart from a Doctor Who one, which I don't really like them. I've seen on some on sale, but I don't really like the design and the way it looks and stuff like that. But hey.
I'm not sure.
Which is
I'm not sure if they make them anymore. They used to make one shaped like Daleks with 2 lights on the head and the big eye stalk coming off. I don't think you can get those. Don't think you can get those anymore. So we're in for a bit of rock and roll, sort of, this time in. So what sort of music do you like listening to, mate? For the people out there who
I am into orchestral music. I have a lot of soundtracks. My favorite composer is John Williams, right across the board. John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith, David Arnold. Yeah. Love David Arnold. I think he's well underrated. You know, I just like
it's fabulous, David Arnold.
I mean, yeah, I think Murray Gold obviously is trying to imitate that kind of feel.
That's an interesting idea. I never really joined the dots there, but you're probably right.
I mean, John Williams is the king of music. He's of TV and movie soundtracks. And let's face it, he was the one that created the format for. I mean, he goes way back since Land of the Giants. Voyage to the Bottom of the
early
Sea.
70s, was that
yeah.
Oh yeah. It was that would have been about 66, 67 on the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
So and
the founding fathers of proper TV music,
and he's one of the best as well. And a lot of composers, James Horner is one of them. He kind of copies his style and stuff. And I guess Murray Gold is one too that tries to imitate his style, I guess.
I suppose we'll find out what they think of that. That's really strange. Normally when I ask you the first question, you give me a one-word answer. How about that, everybody? Can't stop rabbiting. Fantastic.
Because I'm a huge fan of orchestral soundtracks. I've got a load of them right in front of me, right across the board.
Fabulous stuff. Well, I've got to bring on the rest of the band now. We've got so on percussion. I don't know what she's like with the tambourine or whether she's got one to hand, but we can find out. Charlotte, we can ask her now, can't we?
I don't have a tambourine.
Everybody's letting the side down. You ever played one? Or did you do the triangle? Did you do the triangle in the school play?
I did the usual stuff at school. They trusted like xylophone. I was in the school choir though, so I have actually done choiry stuff.
The recorder?
Yeah.
Oh. The recorder?
Yeah. The recorder. Yeah, we all got chucked one of those.
Everyone.
In year 7.
Yeah, everyone got a recorder.
No, I was a soprano, so I was like part of the high bit in the choir.
All right. Okay.
People hide their lights under bushels here at Type 40 Live. Please like the video now, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and dingle the cloister bell too. We haven't got a tambourine, so the cloister bell will have to do, won't it? Hit the cloister bell so you get all the notifications about what's going on here next and why and all those kinds of things. So moving on, we've got the string section. Now, I think he probably prefers guitar strings to cello strings, but we can always ask Jack in the nerd den and find out for ourselves.
Yeah, I have strummed a few notes in my time, and
I don't know why that sounded so rude. It just did. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, that's my speciality, guitar. I have also played a bit of the recorder as well, and
right. Everybody got a recorder when they were in school.
Everyone.
When I was growing up.
It was the cheap instrument schools could give a young child and they wouldn't break.
Yeah, well, it did break, but and also the triangle. If you can't play the instruments, the triangle's very easy to play.
I was mean on the triangle. I have to say, I could do a bit of Black Sabbath there on the old triangle. So, are you a bit of a rocker? Are you a rocker on the slide there, Jack?
Rocker depends on what it is. I'm more of like, I guess you say pop punk. Busted, McFly. That sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my...
Very cool. There you go. Find out different things about everybody every day, don't we? And lastly, the squad isn't complete until we bring on the wind section. And I can't think of anybody else better to bring the wind than our Matt Pott.
Oh, dear. Did you hear that, Matt? He called you wind.
Yeah, well, I did used to play the trombone, so
really, God, tell us more.
I'm pretty good at the Saints Come Marching In,
right.
and the Muppet Show.
Of course you are. Well, it's good to see you, mate. Like the cap, you've got the cap that Ian's been looking for.
Yeah. This is old. This is like 20 years old. This was before even the series came back. So
really,
Do
you remember the ones with the big Dalek eye stalk that was a bit sort of droopy, shall we say?
I couldn't imagine having a wangler out in front of me forehead. I really couldn't. So,
Yes, you had to. When they've got the lights on the side too, which made it look even sillier. It was absolutely brilliant.
I like
Sure,
I
kids
like
will
the
love
hats with the straws that come out, and you can drink some beer while you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Very
a shout.
good, very good.
Yeah, those are they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Well, yeah, it's all been going on this week, everybody. I know it's only 5 weeks, of course, until the anniversary date itself. Quickly crunching down, isn't it? And that first event, it was all let loose this week. It was recorded a little while ago, but people got to hear it properly this time, courtesy of Joe Wiley over at BBC Radio. It's the Radio 2 celebrates Doctor Who at 60th season opened with this new event, and there she was. She's a major Doctor Who fan, isn't she? Joe Wiley at the BBC. Have you ever heard of Joe Wiley, Matt?
No idea. No. What is she? A presenter or something?
Yeah, she's a DJ, I suppose you could say, Ian. I mean, in the 90s, she was really cool.
Yeah.
So when she was in her 20s and early 30s, and they had the biggest show, her and this guy called Steve Lamacq used to break new music all the time in the 90s on their early evening show, didn't they? And do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember. But it's really weird how it's just too. It's like just going off slightly a bit. It's like boxing, right? First of all, they had the heavyweight champion, and when you were the heavyweight champion, you were the heavyweight champion. Now there's so many awards that it just makes it pointless, doesn't it? And it's the same thing in this as well. They were there on the cusp of introducing new music. Now there's hundreds of channels and YouTube and everything, so it kind of makes her redundant, really, doesn't it? So.
Well, also, anyway. She's pushing 60, bless her. So,
looks good for 60.
She looks great, and she's a big Doctor Who fan. She's been talked about it lots and lots and lots of times. So I suppose it was only natural, really, that she'd be the go-to person to host this event at Hodden. What's it called? Hoddenot Hall.
Oh God, not a building.
Yeah,
that looks like Noah's Ark.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, it's ugly.
Well, I like how when they took this picture, they've got the road cones at the bottom there, Matt. Can you see where they have?
Yeah, I can actually.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think I know which side of Cardiff this is on, but yeah, there it is. They've still got the crane up. It is. I think it is kind of an ugly building, but I'm told it's very sustainable, whatever that means. Very sustainable.
Still ugly though. It's an ugly building. It's horrible.
I'm expecting a couple of giraffes to come out of that top window.
Yeah, same here.
Yes, so that's just our views on the building. There's a lot more to get into between us and between you two. We want you to chime in with your views as we all make this sort of beautiful music together as the 60th anniversary starts out. Yes, there's going to be lots of puns as the show continues. I can promise you that. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and hit the cloister bell to find out what we're going to talk about next here. So that's the panel brought on. I think we should go and check and see who's joined us for this glorious occasion. What do you reckon? Should we go and check them out? We've got some people watching this and listening along. Might be a good idea, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back. And you had your mic off just a sec ago.
No, it was just a slight delay between whatever was cutting out. Then that's all. Yeah,
weird.
I don't know. They're just little glitches that happen now and again. Greetings from San Francisco. That's not a glitch. It's a deliberate message from the timescales by the looks of things there. Hi everyone, says Lord Thorpe.
Hi, Lord Thorpe.
Great to have you back. One of our dedicated mods there in the comments section, Lord Thoth, always appreciated. And he reminds to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell, of course. Paul Flint's in too, Charlotte. Paul's back.
Hello, Paul.
In like Flint. There you go.
Yeah. Gallifrey Angel C. That's Cheryl.
Flint was Tasmanian.
Hello to everyone watching. So that's not just to us, that's to everybody else too, whether they're watching now as we live stream this, or whether they're watching in the future. Cheryl is thinking that far in advance because she is a Time Lord. We have our suspicions about this. Good evening, fellow travellers. I'm early for once. Now I need my tea, says Peter Harrington.
So do I, actually.
See you soon then, Peter.
Yeah.
Anytime. Good evening, children of time, Jack.
Hello. Good evening. Lovely to see you.
I'm not a child of time, okay?
That's from Michael.
I'm nowhere near it.
I think this is Michael's thing. I think it's his thing. And we like people to bring the thing, don't we? You should use your thing at every available opportunity. Ahoy, shipmates, says Crimpling Doubloon. It's definitely a thing. It's been a thing for a long time. Say ahoy. Yes. Ahoy, buddy. And then this is the bit where they all start saying hello to one another. It's absolutely lovely in the live chat. Here we are again, says the Darren Zone. Hello. Hello.
That scarf.
Yes. He looks splendid, doesn't he? Splendid.
He does.
Hello, everyone from Retro Doc.
Hi, Gary.
Gary Akers.
He's got a good cap, Retro Doc. He's got a good Doctor Who cap.
He's got
I think
quite
he
a few
mirrors
caps.
that one slightly. Yeah.
He's the only person I think that has better cap game than your good self, mate.
Yeah, afraid so.
Good evening, everyone, from John Yulden in the live chat. And the timescales is here too. Simon Ashley says evening all. And we've got a good evening, everyone, too, from Mark Cockrum. Good to see you back, Mark. Been a little while. Bit of a podcasting legend, I think, Mark is. I forgot the name of his show. If you send me a message, Mark, I'll remember. I may remember in 10 minutes or so.
I hope that's his real name.
I think it is, yeah. I think it is. Oh, yeah, they're chatting away about music and things like that. So, yeah, I think several people into rock and pop. Good morning, evening, everyone from sunny Las Vegas. That's Tony Berryman here to show off.
He looks like he's shocked.
It in, Anthony.
He looks like he's shocked. That avatar is like he's been surprised.
Wouldn't you be if you'd found yourself in the live chat of Type 40 Live on a Thursday at 8 p.m?
He lives in Las Vegas. Nothing should shock him.
No,
exactly.
This is the thing. He's holidaying in Las Vegas because this is Cooper's dad. I think gets fed up with just being called Cooper's dad. There's Cooper and Tony Berryman. They're fandom legends. Happy to have you here in the live chat for however long we've got you there, Tony. Good to hear from you. Peter Harrington again there. Punch it, says Lord Thoth. We've got greetings, everyone, too, from Wendology.
Boom. Wendy.
Boom, says the time. God, the timescale's really dropping. He's dropping the bombs, dropping the messages, dropping the bombs. Rose M. Kirby is here. Hello, Rose. Hey, hello there. Good evening from the UK. Hello to chat.
From the UK.
Yeah. And Type 40 Doctor Who, good afternoon, Americans, and good evening to Europe. Wow, this is the sort of a Eurovision Song Contest speech we're getting, isn't it? Yeah, to everybody in every time zone, Charlotte. It's fabulous, isn't it?
We like it when everybody gets included in that way.
Yeah, don't leave a soul out, Rose. You keep going as you are. Happy to have you here. Problem Beings in the live chat too. Hey, hello, mate.
Lee.
The composer of the fabulous one and only Type 40 Live theme tune. It's going to be okay. Harry's here, says Harry Palmer, Ian.
Love Harry Palmer.
And Tom Monty reminds us that there's less than a month now until the first 60th episode. Yes, we still don't have a transmission date for those. In fact, the dates that we thought we'd got, it looks like it won't be those. It looks like it is actually still in a state of flux. So I think I'm going to leave the speculation, Jack, until we know actually something a little more concrete. 'Cause we could keep going forever, couldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. But we need something now. I'm going insane. I need something.
Which means that
something
if
solid.
It isn't being broadcast on the dates we think it's going to broadcast, the novel's going to come out and spoil it for everyone.
Well, this is it. They can't possibly risk that. Yeah, they can't possibly. They'll hold on to them. Hold on. Harry says, my partner is from Coventry, a fellow Midlander, Dan. Well, that's...
Oh, he's gone. He's gone again.
Yeah,
or is it my mic? Is it mine?
You broke out. It went all fuzzy. And
Hello?
Then you broke out. Hello?
No, I'm here. I've just done.
Oh, there you go. No, it's just weird.
No, there's a bit of static. There was a sudden static,
and then your voice went down.
These things happen. It's okay. Good evening, all, says John from Daleks 6388. Happy to have you back, John. What sort of music do you like, John? You can't spend all your time listening to I Want to Spend My Christmas with a Dalek, can you? Most likely other things. Yeah, they're
better than what you can get a Wookiee for Christmas.
Howdy, Ian, says Grego at the timescales. Love the DeLorean shirt. I have a 1981.
Yeah, the flux capacitor is what makes time travel possible. There you go. So it's cool shit. Cool shit.
Couldn't agree more. Hello, all from Sam. Hello, Sam from all. We've got a comment here from Tony L as well, and I think this is about your remarks earlier on. James Horner reminds me of Jerry Goldsmith. I always get the two mixed up as well.
Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith's more kind of His music is fantastic. James Horner is a young fella. Well, he was a young fella at the time. He tried to imitate him. So yeah, on the wire.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that's you, Jack. That's you. Traveling.
Hello to the past me. Hope you're doing well.
An echo. It's proper. You need to throw a fez at yourself, don't you? That's what it is. Cracking panel, as always, says Wendology. Music for me. Here we go. The musos are in. Cliff Maxwell joined us to give us a lecture here on rock. Music for me starts with Led Zeppelin, Rush, King's X, and then goes to Peter Gabriel, the Police, and then runs the gamut. What's King's X?
Don't know that one.
No, you've lost.
You know Peter Gabriel.
King's Cross, is it?
No, King's Cross is a station.
I was going to say that's strange.
It's not here.
I don't know.
I won't tell you what it is here.
I can
Harry
imagine.
Palmer. Hold on. There we go. Harry Palmer. The Ipcris file. There you go, Harry. See,
That's just for you, Harry.
I told you I'm a fan.
Oh dear. We have fans of Joe Wiley too in the live chat. Gary says Joe Wiley was a great host for the concert. She knows her who. Yeah, we'll come to it in a minute. And my favourite DJ, says Tony L. And Peter Harrington says, lads, Mags, wasn't she involved? Wasn't she or wasn't she? She probably was. I think a lot of the DJs and TV personalities like Gail Porter, they would all do those. Philippa Forrest, all those people, you'd find them in the lads'
Like
mags.
Samantha Fox?
No, she was a pastry girl. That's different.
Yeah,
they used to, in the lads' mags, they used to leave the clothes on, but it would be like in bikinis and stuff like that.
FHM.
Yeah.
Okay.
More Joe Wiley fans here. More Joe Wiley things. Yeah, and we've got lots more comments too to get round to. Hi, Space Bookers, says Cybermat Strikes. And when Wendy is just looking at the angle of the photograph there of the building of the front there. So it looks like a very poor picture of the Millennium Center. It looks better from the front. Yes, he's right. It does look better from the front. They've just found the Golga Finchons. Oh, that's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. Oh, don't go getting into proper literature.
Thank you for the fish.
Dear me. Do you realise, says Rose, do you realise in 4 days' time it will be the 23rd of October? So a year ago, the 13th Doctor regenerated. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing. Actually.
That was the day where everybody got excited about Doctor Who instantly in the mainstream media for a couple of days.
Try to forget.
Yes. And we have Hi Dan from T Dwarf Productions. I think that's Tom, isn't it? Hi, T Dwarf. And Hedda asks, back to those air dates again, is it unusual that they haven't released the air dates yet? Hedda, no, it's not unusual, I'm afraid. It's not that unusual at all to be a month away from a transmission of something and for them not to confirm exactly when. These things are commonly in flux in British television now. I think when it's a series of 10 or something, they book those and they block those in very tight. But stuff like this, not so much, and particularly when it's a piece of event television. It could have lots of other factors that are dependent on it. So, and
it's not just one as well. Like the last time, the 50th was just one special. So this is going to have to be planned a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I reckon they've got the dates. I just haven't told us.
Oh, they know them. I fully think that
they probably have.
Awkward.
Yeah.
They probably have, yeah. And Harry's enjoying himself so much, he's on the sauce already with a big old glass of wine. That's what we like to hear. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed. Particularly, you might as well do it now, particularly if you like Harry, because he'll be too pissed later on, won't he? So yeah, please do all that now. And hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what's coming next as we rock on there. Just
every time a doctor picks up a guitar, they always come across as sad dads. For some reason, I don't know why.
Yeah, like they're playing air guitar or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Go for it. Sylvester, the Axeman McCoy. Yeah, you know what to do right by now, when to do it.
Greetings, I am K9. If you have an inquiry and Siri or Alexa cannot help, maybe I can. Have you ever wondered if time travel is possible? Or what can a sonic screwdriver do? I may have the answers. please leave your questions in the comments below.
Thank you, K9. Good boy, good boy. Yeah, so it's not just the concert that's coming from Radio 2. Radio 2 celebrates Doctor Who at 60, so we're informed, we're reassured by this lovely colourful graphic that's been floating around everywhere and the various patterns. It looks like a chocolate wrapper that's been sort of torn open, doesn't it? With the Doctor and Donna there peering out at us. I think Donna looks like she may have followed through, but other than that, I think this is a nice bit of key art there for the anniversary. So, but it's not just the concert that we had the other day. We're getting two documentaries, two brand new hour-long documentaries. Now they're going to be hosted again by Jo Wiley, Matt. So you're going to get used to her voice if you're going to take any interest in the 60th anniversary.
Well.
Yeah, and these were originally listed though for last week. They were supposed to be on the Sounds app last week, and they pulled them. Now they've decided we've got some actual air dates for them. So there's going to be two of them, and Doctor Who: The Classic Years and Doctor Who: The Modern Era. And you get the general gist of it. Again, they've got Tom Baker there on the graphic for the one, and the 14th Doctor and Donna there on another. And so the first one, so this is the classic years, and the blurb says Jo is joined by fans, stars and writers of Doctor Who as she takes a trip through the Whoniverse to discover the amazing stories behind the rise and fall of a British institution. Do you think that's the classic series in a nutshell, Charlotte?
I think, yeah, it's a little bit sad that like the big part of it is the fall, because there's plenty of positive as well for classic. It's not just the end bit that people talk about.
That's all people.
Where's this screening? Where is it?
I'm about to tell you. This is on the radio, mate. So it's not screening.
What?
As I said, this is all on BBC Radio 2. And
why is it on the radio?
Well, it's part of Radio 2's anniversary celebration, mate. They're the ones that have commissioned it.
Should they not be celebrating it on the BBC with a proper documentary?
Well, there is a documentary. There is a documentary coming on the television as well. Yeah, there is. We'll talk about that another time. But this ties in obviously to the concert because I think it's being produced by the same people. It's hosted by the same woman. But this is with us on Saturday, the 21st of October. This one, the classic years, and it will be followed by this little beauty, the modern era. Which that sounds like a new romantic band from the 80s, I think. And the blurb on this one say from its cancellation in 1989 to its place at the forefront of the TV schedule, Jo Wiley has a behind-the-scenes look at the regeneration of our favourite Time Lord, Jack. They're very generic blurbs, aren't they? But I suppose that is kind of what happened, wasn't it, back in 2005?
Yeah, it was. And I mean, to be honest, these radio documentaries, I don't think they've really tickled my fancy, to be honest. They
sound very generic, don't they?
Well, hold on, right? They say that the classic had its fall, but the modern era had its fall as well.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they're being honest about the classic and they're not.
We know that, and they know that. But whether they're ever going to admit it publicly is, I think we're some years away from that, Matt, aren't we?
Yeah. Is this streaming, Dan?
No, it will be. Radio.
It will be. So it's going to be on BBC Radio 2.
Do you have to have a license to
no,
do that,
it's a funny thing with BBC Radio because people assume that you have to, but no, the clue is in the name. It's called the TV license, so you don't need a TV license to listen to the radio. Anybody can listen to BBC
I was just
Radio.
Thinking about the BBC thing. That was all because
I
remember when the new series came out, Eccleston. And they had a whole heap of interviews and everything, and it was
they did,
the guy from Buffy that hosted it.
That's right.
And I remember streaming it because we waited up to 6 months for the actual series to start here. So I got to listen to all the gossip and everything while just way before it. So that was great. That's the first time I've ever actually streamed anything was the Doctor Who that documentary.
Well, the good news with this is that the first one's with us on Saturday, the 21st of October, and this second one is on and available just a day later on Sunday, the 22nd, the one on the modern era. And yeah, they're both premiering on the radio, but they're going on to the BBC Sounds app as well. So if you download that, get it on your phone, you can play it. You can play it over and over and over again, and it'll probably be there for a good month or so. After that, I think you may even be able to download them. I'm not entirely sure, Ian. I haven't.
I didn't even know this was happening. If I'd never came on this,
there you go.
I'd never know what's happening, and this really bothers me You know, my brother's a big fan of Doctor Who, and he probably doesn't know this is happening either. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, why are they not pushing it out? And I don't know. Maybe I just don't watch TV anymore.
I find it a bit odd as well that, like you said, this is obviously the start now. It does feel like this is the start of the extra material, the sort of push, and it's incredibly low key. That it's just
I don't understand.
Like
it's a weird thing to do.
All.
Because remember when the 50th, they were advertising 50th, that advert was on TV all the time, the one that they went through all the doctors and stuff, and it was freaking awesome. And then this, like, I didn't even, as I said, if Dan didn't say this, I would never know it's on. Not that I'm going to listen to it, because I'm not really a big fan of radio or Big Finish or anything like that. I love the visual stuff. But again, it's strange how I didn't know it was on, or it's not pushed a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm
radio does have a slightly different reach and a slightly different audience. The people who listen to radio too, in particular, they listen to that kind of thing habitually, and particularly the show that Doctor Who was a part of this weekend just gone. But I think these documentaries will probably, for us, I think, Jack, when we listen to them, there's probably not going to be a great deal that we haven't heard before, information-wise. Yeah. But they have promised that they'll have dragged some nice clips out of the archives of some of the stars and production personnel who are no longer with us. And whilst we may have heard those snippets before, maybe they've done something creative with them. But if it's for the not we who happen to listen to it, then it may re-stimulate their interest in the show, hadn't it?
Yeah, well, you'd like to think so, because, like, as it's already been pointed out, yes, Classic Who had its fall, but so's the modern iteration.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Part of me thinks as well that's why the 60th isn't getting that big push like the 50th did, to be honest, because, there's more positive reception from fans now because, what we've seen so far, it does look pretty good. But obviously not all is forgiven in a lot of cases, and it's hard to win back general audiences because a lot of the time when people step away from a series, they don't go back. Whereas Doctor Who, it's a long-running sci-fi show, so you gotta reel them in. But it takes time, and I feel like if all goes well, who knows? In the 70th, we might get something, more akin to the 50th. But
heaven
right
knows
now,
where we'll
I feel
be.
like we're just getting drips and drabs. Whilst I appreciate it, I do wish we could have gotten more, but it's obvious why we haven't.
I wouldn't say it's early days now. I think we're right on the cusp. I think you're right, Jack. I think it's pretty reasonable that we know something now. But I suspect there's a few little treats that are going to be brought out that we don't know anything about. I don't think we can complain about 3 specials, a TV documentary, 2 radio documentaries, a concert, and an upload of all the Doctor Who that they can have access to the iPlayer, he means. And in some senses, I think that's a nice bundle of stuff. And
I can complain.
I can understand. I understand why people are disappointed. But I think, as I said a couple of weeks ago, my view, Ian, is that the simple fact is that Doctor Who's not as popular as it was 10 years ago.
True.
We are where we are. And I wish that wasn't true. But the fact is, it is true. If this works in a few weeks' time, then in 10 years' time, we could be experiencing a 70th that makes the 50th look like the opening of a new branch of Iceland. It's like nothing.
Love it.
You never know. Times change, don't they? Times change. I saw Ben Foster in Liverpool a while ago, his full orchestra, fantastic evening. He's very good, isn't he? Very good. Electric Balls in the live chat too, and so is What else? Yes, we've got Ezra Goldstein too. This is the promotion of the Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. Is very underwhelming.
Yes,
Prepare to be whelmed. I'm not expecting a massive amount, I have to be honest. I think Harry sort of summed it up quite well there. I think that's a nice consignment of stuff. I think that most of the attention will go on to the 3 specials, Matt. And of course, it's not as if they're putting all their eggs in one basket, but it does mean they've got to really deliver with those episodes, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, geez, keep everybody waiting long enough, and it's just like it's just gonna be like a lead balloon, if it's gonna tank. Otherwise, if those shows right out of the gate have to get your attention within the first 5 minutes. And that means for the normies as well, Otherwise, they're going to switch off. They are. So,
We have Tony L says the trailer for the 60th has only been on TV once, which is a bit odd. Yeah,
I was going to say, I don't remember just a trailer yet.
No,
for the specials.
Well, it's on YouTube, isn't it? I mean, I mind you, I don't watch on BBC anymore, so it could have been on multiple times, and you know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think so. I think he's talking about the specials trailer. I thought they'd done a special 60th proper celebration trailer, but no, we've just had the special trailer.
I hope they get it right, though. I hope these three with David Tennant is good, and you know, and we all. I got a feeling they are going to be good, though. David Tennant. It's going to be back to the 2000s, because that's the way Russell T. Wright. So it's going to be back to square one with David Tennant, and hopefully we'll enjoy it, and hopefully the shooty one's going to be just as entertaining. Fingers crossed.
Carol Jude advises Ian that the SAG-AFTRA strike is still going on, and that could have a hand in the lack of new or more material around the 60th. Certainly abroad,
doesn't affect.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't affect us. It doesn't affect British TV either. It's an American thing. So that's the thing. I still don't understand why we're underwhelmed with material.
David Tennant and that can't be promoting it if this.
No, he can.
That is still going on, isn't it?
No, he can because he's British.
He can. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
okay, they can still promote. Okay.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. But they haven't been doing it though. I mean, I don't know. Am I missing something? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
Harry Palmer here adds again. We can't expect a massive celebration every 10 years.
Well, of course we can.
I agree with you, Ian. I think we can.
Well, he's used to.
But I think we've also got to be reasonable.
Even in the wilderness years.
I think on principle, a show, Matt, that clocks up another 10 decades, or even if it's just still as an IP, even if it's not in regular production, anything that clocks up another 10 years, we should have a massive celebration every 10 years.
We always do. There's always a new book that comes out. There's always something extra brought out for us, like an animation or something like that. There's always something in.
Do you know what?
My proviso on that, though, now I've said that there should be a big one every 10 years. It always has to be in relative terms because the entertainment landscape changes and Doctor Who's place within it also changes. You know, we can't be petulant about any of this. That's my view. It all started, of course, back in 1963 and heralded by this woman, the late great Delia Derbyshire. Of course, she passed away in, I think it was 2001. Wasn't it? It's been So she lived. That was it. From 1937 until 2001. And Delia Derbyshire was the woman who breathed life and character and personality and that eerie quality into the Doctor Who theme tune that was originally composed by Ron Grainer. She gave it that distinctive sound that is still celebrated to this day. And I think without her, quite honestly, the theme tune probably would have been changed a few years later. It would have been a thing that would have gone in and out of fashion. But her work sounded so hard to pin down back in 63 that they haven't really needed to do anything that drastic to it, Charlotte. So it's only right, isn't it, that we acknowledge Delia Derbyshire at every available opportunity.
I think it is, but I do find it a little bit sad and annoying, actually, at the concert that they had two other classic music directors, or whatever term you want to use, and they basically spent the whole of their segment talking about Delia, and I was just a bit, of course, give credit to her, of course, and she did a lot, like you said, about the theme song, but so did Peter Howell, who was there, and I forgot the other guy's name. But
Peter Howell and Marquez were both there. And
I thought they could have talked a bit more about their stuff and Delia.
Marquez, he didn't. Did he compose something for any of the episodes, Dan?
Yeah, he did. We'll get round to all of that in a little while. But for now, yes, please like the video now, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about all of that and what's coming next. This is Type 40 Live, and we're digging deep into the 60th anniversary concert here on YouTube, Rumble, and on Facebook too, in the Type 40 Facebook group. Lots to get into. We're not going to go track by track as such. We're not even going to go interview by interview. We're going to just spit it all out and see what we all remember from this fantastic occasion. And you can join in there too in the live chat to tell us about the tracks that you liked and the ones that you didn't. We're all ears.
Jaffa cakes. Sorry, I thought I'd just say that.
The man's obsessed. The man's obsessed. Have you got any to your side now, Ian? Have you got any in?
No, not well. I should have got some when I did shopping today, and I completely forgot my Jaffa cakes. So yeah, I need my fix.
You need your fix, do you? You need your fix.
My fix, mate.
Yeah. So from its very earliest days, Doctor Who didn't just feel like no other show on British TV. It sounded like no other either, and that was thanks largely to the work of Delia Derbyshire and the other people who were in the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. It wasn't a one-woman band, not by any stretch of the imagination. And although the days of the penny whistle, and all that stuff, Ian, you remember those sound effects in the old days?
That's a Carry On, isn't it?
Yeah, you used to get them in all shows.
You
get the whizzes and the pops and the penny whistles all going off all the time across all shows, and that sound effect of the smashing window you get on every show.
yeah. That's BBC sound effects library, isn't it? So, but this. I love this theme though, the original theme. I mean, do you know what about this theme? It is quite scary. I don't know how. I don't know. Do you when you hear the original? Hey, Dan. Sorry, Dan. What you say?
It's unsettling and it's eerie and the perfect soundtrack to the Time Lords' adventures, idiosyncratic stories that are like nothing else you get on TV. And BBC Studios have recently staged this event in honor of the music, the multi-generations of music that have introduced the Doctor's adventures and just sort of lied underneath them, Jack, sometimes louder than others. That's been a long-standing complaint of incidental music in Doctor Who, isn't it? Right the way back to the classic show, sometimes it's not as incidental as it could be. Sometimes they put the volume up a bit too loud.
Yeah. I love Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, but it's just when it was all electronic music and, it gave it its style. But the thing is, though, when everything around them, like, Quantum Leap and all those American TV shows are using or imitating orchestras, Doctor Who was still going down the road of the Casio keyboards. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of slightly annoying. But, now we've got an orchestra, it's going to sound even better, right?
Yeah, that's the gimmick, isn't it, of Sunday night is music night. This is a long-running strand on BBC Radio 2. I think it's been going since the 50s. It's certainly the longest-running show of its kind in the world, Charlotte. I'm not big on orchestral music. I have it on my headphones and things like that, but it's not the sort of thing I play when I'm doing the washing up. Yes. I tend to more play Jack's boy bands, Busted, and all that kind of stuff.
No, I think it's so important just to have, even if it's not orchestral, just a score. And I think that's what Doctor Who was very good at from the beginning, knowing it needed to have that music to be just as part of any dialogue or any of the actors on stage. It needs to, because I honestly think, and that's why I will happily listen to scores, or like whether that's movie stuff or video games. I quite like to listen to video game music, because for me, music is so good at doing emotion, and it can just sort of show or have that heart, which is just as important as dialogue. And I think a show needs it.
I think Russell T Davies said something to that effect
in
his interview.
I think what it is with the music, especially with the BBC, and obviously they threw 2p to Doctor Who, so that was the music budget basically. But the thing is, though, I don't think anyone that composed music, they didn't really learn the basics of actually creating a soundtrack for a TV show or even a movie, even because like when I hear the music of Doctor Who, it's just sound. It isn't really a tune or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? They'll have a little dun when there's something's going to happen, whatever. So I think it took them a long time to realize you've got to create themes and tunes and connect them organically with what's happening.
I suppose it was a case of simple resources, wasn't it? Not just the money. I won't say talent, because I think the people there could always do it, but it's time and money and all those things. It's a story we hear all the time. And it wasn't until The Runaway Bride so it was Christmas 2006 that they really lent into that orchestral sound, was it, Jack?
Yeah, that's right. And I think as well, from then on, we've had a little bit of variety as well when it comes to, Doctor Who's soundtrack. And obviously, The Runaway Bride, Love Don't Rhyme, one of my favourites to sing. And some really. Is that what you do?
Do you stand there singing? Just sing along to it in the bath or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I've even sung it drunk at a karaoke bar before. Got a bit of a I can't lie, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, you do seem the type. I can imagine you as a karaoke. Yeah, I can totally get that. So this last weekend we got it on the radio. So the event happened back in September, didn't it? But on the radio we got to hear it. Joe Wiley presents this unique performance celebrating the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who from Cardiff's Hoddinott Hall, featuring the BBC National Orchestra of Wales and the BBC Singers, conducted by Alistair King. The music includes composer Murray Gold's best-known Doctor Who themes. The classic years of Doctor Who are also featured as they hark back to old adventures, and there are brand new works premiered just on this show by both Sagan Akinola and Murray Gold. These are heard for the very first time. There's 3 new pieces that are going to be there as well for the debut season of all new Doctor Who from 2024. Very exciting stuff. So I think some people are more into the music than others. Joe Wiley said on the show, Charlotte, that the music is like a character in the series, all of its own. I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but as I said earlier on, it is very idiosyncratic, isn't it, Doctor Who music?
Yeah, and I think you're very right that some people, it doesn't hit them. And that's perfectly good and okay, because for some it's there and they don't really pay attention to it. Whereas for the likes of me, and I know other people, we can associate moments with music. We can associate stings with characters and sort of events happening. So I think I still think what we said originally when this was announced, it should have been like a prom. It should have been more of a television event. But I am very happy we got something celebrating the music, because
I'll never understand, Charlotte, why kids weren't allowed to go to this thing. I think kids are essential at events like this. Just don't get that at all.
An adults only thing?
Unbelievably, it was adults only. Yeah.
God, I hope there was a couple of strippers in there.
We're going to get to see for ourselves, because funny enough, Charlotte, you said this from the moment they announced this. Why isn't this on the television? Which just been announced today will be on the TV. They're screening it on BBC 4. This is on Wednesday, the 1st of November.
Oh, that's
on BBC 4. But that is their arts-based channel now, isn't it? BBC 4 is kind of like BBC 2 used to be. So they put all their art stuff on there. It's going to be on BBC 4. And it's the same event.
Don't know what to do with Doctor Who.
They may as well be hiding it.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, but it's going to be on BBC 4, but it's going to be edited down to 90 minutes rather than the full 2 hours. So that's what we're going to get. That's just been confirmed. That's just been confirmed today.
I prefer the strippers. Get the strippers in.
So I suppose
get me some strippers.
The most obvious question is, who's heard this concert? Did you make time for it? Have you heard it? And if so, obviously you think this isn't enough. It's not as big as it could be. But it is something. It is part of an important strand for BBC Radio. I would say it is kind of prestigious to have this long-running show devote an entire evening to Doctor Who. Have you heard it all, Jack?
No, I haven't. I've listened to some of the new stuff, and yeah, I thought it was okay. I really love the new theme tune. I had a little rave to that, and a little rave.
You mean like that?
Yeah.
In your bedroom.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and there's a time to bury the lead on these things, but it's only natural that, even though it was the very last thing that they played us, that we probably talk about the new theme tune first. Have you heard the new version of the theme tune yet, Ian?
Yeah, I have. I heard it. Quite frankly, there's nothing different. Well, it has a few bits and different, but it's the same tune, and I'm a bit disappointed with it, really. I mean, the thing is, though, how far can you take the Doctor Who theme in one direction or the other? It's always going to sound the same. You can only add little bits to it and stuff like that, but there's not much you can do, really, to it.
How many times have you heard it? How many times have you heard it, Ian?
3 times, the new one, with that, because it was on YouTube, so I heard it 3 times. But saying that, when they do go out the way to try and make it different, like the last person that did the theme for the Jodie one, it sounded awful as far as I was concerned, So
why don't we have another listen now? See if it grows on you at all. Check it out.
dance moves.
That's the Jack. Put some shapes, mate.
Yeah, get up. Yeah, get up. Yeah. Why not? It sounds just like the Russell T one.
Yes,
There's nothing
no.
different about it at all.
Go on. So, Matt, you let us know what you think now then. Come on, what do you make of this?
Fucking shit.
Thank you.
There's
for that.
nothing
Sorry.
different
No,
about it.
look, I mean,
Yes.
yes, exactly. And the thing is, there's no variety in it whatsoever. He's
Yeah.
just a one note. Sorry, he's just a one note musician, and none of his theme changes over the course of the last, whatever years. How many years did he do it for? Like 10 or 12 years. They all sound
It's a
the
long
same.
time.
And the thing is, though, like you expect some sort of variety, but to me, that actually sounds more like something you'd put at the end of the show rather than at the
probably will
beginning
be.
of the show. It doesn't hype me up for the show. I need something to hype me up for the show, and then maybe lead that out on the way out. But
I appreciate.
I
what
just
you're
feel nothing.
I appreciate what you're saying, but I think that what we could be getting with this run will be the reinstatement of the proper cold opens, where we get a scene of the action to
You know what I
just
miss?
and then the mini cliffhanger at the end of the teaser, which will go right into that. I think we're forgetting how the balance used to be before.
You know what I miss? That sting at the front.
Yeah,
I do as well.
How the
I do too.
and that's the thing. That's the thing to go. Get ready for adventure. This doesn't. This is just like, hey, here's another show. Hey, and it's like it's boring. I'm sorry. I'm getting so bored of Murray Gold's crap. And I expected if they brought him back that he'd actually do something with his money and actually go, oh, after all this hiatus that I've had, and I've had I don't know if he's had any work or whatever, but it's just obviously he hasn't had any. He's not looking too well either. But he's just not. Looks like Brains from Thunderbirds actually with the glasses. But
or Moby.
It's just Oh, very good. Yes. It's just.
Well, he's been away from the show for over.
Anything.
He's been away from the show for over 6 years. He's been working on several quite high-end dramas for places like Amazon and Netflix and all these things. So this guy's been doing other stuff. But the fact that, again, I feel, and I don't want to sound like a stuck record, but I do feel like we are where we are. This series, this IP, is on its arse. And I think some of what we're complaining about, and I'm not disagreeing with you, in some ways I think there is nothing new here. But
there's nothing new coming as well, Dan.
Adding a couple of symbols and a triangle doesn't work.
The time to innovate with this brand, it's just not now. You've got to remind people, and remind people all the time solidly why they love this show in 2005. And I think that's what this version of the theme tune is. I think that's why it's so reminiscent.
I think that's dangerous, Dan. I think that's dangerous to go back to what Russell T done, because
But Ian, they can't take any more. They can't take any more. No, Ian, they
but
can't.
let me finish. Let me finish.
No,
right.
Ian,
Yeah,
they can't take any more chances.
Look. This is where things blossom. You have to take chances when it comes to new things or things that you're trying to, reborn. If you know what I mean, you have to, because you have to try and get the new audience in. That's the idea. And Russell T knew that when he took over from classic Who, and he created that whole thing. It was very original how, Gallifrey had died and he was the only one left, and, the beginning sequence and stuff like that. It was very new. Even the Doctor never had a classic Doctor costume on. He had a costume, but it was very different to the rest of them. So he was reinventing Doctor Who. That's what they need to do now. They need to reinvent Doctor Who.
There's no evolution.
I don't disagree with you, but I think that the time to do that is probably next year.
No, it's now.
Not the. I think they have to re-establish this show in the schedules, in people's hearts, and to re-evoke the show they fell in love with.
Well, they'll be just inviting us, won't they? The people that used to, who like it. But you have to try and invite the new people. As
I tell you who they're trying to get. They're trying to get the people who were kids when the show was first on, who have just had. No, I should stipulate this is about re-evoking the success of the 2005 to 2008 time. Yeah. So they're trying to get the people who watched it then when it was first on, and some of them will be parents now. They want them to bring their kids. I think that's what they're trying. You could say it's a cynical creative move, and you could say it's going for the heartstrings. It is absolutely very, very brash, but it's very, very bold.
But Dan, it's wrong, because the relationship that parents have with their kids now, it's not like that. It's not like that. That's kids don't.
I think it can.
When a parent says, "Oh, do you want to watch this show?"
They still go to the cinemas together, don't they?
Yeah, I know that, right? But generally speaking, now kids are very different, right? If you told a kid to sit down and watch this, right, back in the 70s or even back in the 80s, they would. But if you tell a kid to sit down and watch this, they're on their phone or they're off.
I don't disagree with you. So. I don't disagree with you, but I heard all those same arguments in 2004 when the series was getting ready to come back. I did all over the forums.
Because TV was very important in those days, mate. It was still up there because there was no streaming or anything like that. So watching BBC and watching ITV, they were still up there. But there was satellite channels, but it was still BBC and ITV ruled the roost. I mean, what do we have? Sky.
My view of this theme is that it's a sort of hybrid. It's a hybrid of the best bits of various things of Murray's previous versions of the theme. So I think it starts very similar to Matt's theme, Charlotte, and then it goes right in to a beefed up version of the 2005, 6, and 7 theme. And then they bring in the choir elements, and they just throw everything but the kitchen sink at it.
They did it already.
I think in the various versions, he tried different things with that. Here, I think this is a distillation of the things that he feels that worked about previous ones, to go deliberately more rousing and to be the most blockbuster that the music has ever sounded, the most orchestral. There's even a bong from a gong at the end.
What about a triangle?
I think could be a little too far, Jack. Jack, what do you? I've got to be honest. I love this theme. For me, it's absolutely bang on. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I love it, but I can also see what Ian's saying as well.
Yeah, so I can too.
It's very, very familiar, and there's already been a fair bit of criticism already about the specials themselves, that it's going a little bit too far and relying on the tropes from the golden era. Let's be honest, from New Who, which was very popular. It was peak Who, especially Series 4. But the way I'm seeing it, I do feel like we're going to be getting something yet that's going to be playing it more safe for the 60th. Obviously, you've got the cast back and all that, and there'll probably be remixed versions of like Donna's theme and stuff like that. But I think it'll have like a different filter, and we'll start seeing that filter come on more and more, especially when we get to Special 3, the Giggle, whenever Ncuti makes his debut, and then it's kind of like slowly removing the stabilizers on a bike, and then you go off on the ride for the Christmas special, which could be you continue riding through into Series 14, or you fall off your bike and graze your knee. I
think my knee's going to be grazed.
Electric Bull says, I hope it sounds better on TV. Well, of course it will, won't it? Because obviously that's that was filmed in the hall there.
Yeah, but
And so
Dan,
it
it
will
does
sound
sound
different on
good.
TV.
I agree with you. It does sound good, but
I think it sounds
but also
fantastic.
agree with Matt. There's nothing new there at all.
No.
I mean, he's literally.
If I heard that, I would just think
I'm
it
not-
was just a.
I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is it's deliberately not new, and those are the reasons.
Yeah, I guess. But my point is they were approaching Doctor Who all wrong. It should be something new, so something fresh. It should be. Anyway, I'll stop there. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I think for me, the proper test is going to be what Shooties is going to be, because I agree in the sense with Dan that this is an anniversary celebration. It is going back to the familiar on purpose because of the timing.
Fingers in the ears.
And then I would argue it's not so much, I don't think they're trying to get families back, honestly.
No,
I
don't
think this
so
is
either.
getting the old established fans back, which got pushed out.
Let me nail it down. They're trying to get everybody back.
No, I don't think they are. Not for the first three.
They're trying to get. They're trying to get. Otherwise, why would David Tennant and Donna Noble
money
be there if they weren't trying to get everybody?
No, Dan, I agree with you.
No, Ian, I'm talking creatively.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Well, no, I would say this. In the grand schemes, yes, they want to get newbies, they want to get old fans, they want to get young, they want to get everybody, of course. But I said this before, I feel like certain bits of the specials are sort of aiming at different aspects. And I think this tune, on purpose, is actually aiming at what Jack was saying, what you were as well, in the sense of people of my generation who came in 2005, people who have got lots of nostalgia for that part of Who. This is on purpose trying to get that audience with other people as well. And I can't help but think of an example of something else. Like I said, I mentioned I'm a massive video game person and I love my music. And there was a Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy, that came out this year. And the reaction I remember for that first trailer, because their music on purpose was very reminiscent of Hedwig's theme. Who's, if you know Harry Potter theme, that's what Hedwig's theme is. It's the
John Williams.
Do that one.
John Williams.
Yeah, it's very, and it was clearly reminiscent of that. And I saw so many fans who are Potter fans see that trailer, and as soon as those beats that were similar enough, but they weren't exact copies, hit, you could see people live reacting to it. Their faces lit up. They got massive smiles on them. And I just can't help but think they're trying to do that with Doctor Who.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure that they will. In time, creatively, it will evolve. And as I understand it, there's an agreement that Murray Gold's only going to be around for a finite period of time. He's going to move on to other things. They'll probably bring other people through.
Didn't he not do that for the last one as well? He did that for the last one, didn't he?
A lot of series they have people who come in and set down the groundwork for this is how things are. So say something like Danny Elfman, okay? Danny Elfman is going, here's a theme, okay? Here's a theme to start your show with, and try and work with that. And you get other people like Shirley Walker or someone like that who worked also on the Batman animated series and that as well. And if you remember, they actually used Danny Elfman's theme.
They did,
but it was Shirley who actually composed the music. So she took it's very much like, like Ron Grainer and Darley, can you say her name? Derbyshire? Delia Derbyshire. It's very similar to that, where, I am positive that if Ron Grainer had done that himself, it would have ended up something like The Prisoner.
Probably.
That theme.
Let's look at some of the comments in the live chat. Let's look at the comments now from the people watching and see what they think. I think people have heard our opinion of this. Let's take a look at the Darren Zone's view. Is that the new version of the theme sounds messy and overblown? I think overblown is probably fair. Yeah, the iconic bass line and melody are lost in the mix. That's probably fair as well, isn't it, Matt? They are a little bit flooded out by it. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with Darren.
Harry Palmer says the new theme will sound different on screen. Live versions are always a bit scratchy. The levels will be better.
It did sound good live, though. I got to admit.
Yeah, I thought it sounded pretty good myself. But results may vary, I suppose. Depends on your hearing and things. The new theme has too many instruments. It's way too cluttered. So there's a real divide here. I think there's a resistance, I think, with some to the fact that it's gone blockbuster. But I would argue that Doctor Who kind of went blockbuster in 2006, 2007, as soon as it went orchestral, Jack. I mean, and I don't think you can really dial back on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, especially with modern audiences and, with the younger generation, if you did try and dial it back, it would be seen as a downgrade, where I personally don't agree with that. But to the public,
because you'd probably have to make the show smaller as well, wouldn't you? Take it indoors more and things.
Yeah, and obviously we do know with a certain House of Mouse getting involved now with the budget and stuff, so things are going to look even bigger. If you do dial back the music, it's not going to necessarily match, or for the audiences, they're probably going to think, no, that doesn't really fit, and they'll be that all will lead to criticism and all that.
Time Lord 2023 says, I like the new theme. When I heard it, I was dancing around the room. I wouldn't go quite that far, but I had a massive grin on my face. Massive grin on my face when I heard it. Moons of Madness feels they screwed up the middle eight.
Maybe.
But Kelly says, I love this version of the theme. Crimpling Doubloon says that it's so far away from the original arrangement, it may as well be a different tune. I'm not keen. It is, but then again, it's 60 years ahead of that. As I say, I think the touchstone for this is less Delia and more Murray version 1, RTD 1. And I know that's going to wind some people up, and I understand why. It's the 60th anniversary, not the 20th anniversary. But as I keep saying, we are where we are. They've got to get this show back on track. Not keen on the opening, says Woodhouse 122. In my view, that's a very Matt Smith sort of opening. And problem being, feels it's quite generic. And generic, I think, is an unkindness. But I know what you're saying. I think a lot of orchestral music. A lot of orchestral music, I feel, Matt. And I'm not as into it as Ian is, and I don't listen to that much movie music. Movie music has to be really idiosyncratic for me to latch onto it, you see. And I do find a lot of... And to be honest, some of the tunes that they played on this concert, just a few of them did feel a little generic for me, but there was some that made their hair stand up on the back of my neck, and others which I felt nothing. I couldn't even remember which episode they were from.
I've always described Murray Gold's music as whimsy. Always it always floats up somewhere, and it's just it just doesn't have any form, and I'm not a huge fan.
He works a lot with themes though, doesn't he? He talked about that on the concert, in fact.
Like I said, sometimes themes are the best thing, but you've got to have some sort of variety in the thing.
Giving each character their own individual theme. There's a whole suite of them. They played a collection of the music that's associated with the companions from this, didn't they, Charlotte? And it was for about 3 or 4 minutes, wasn't it? So they went from Rose's theme to Martha's and Donna's. There was lots in the mix there. And again, it was all quite, just as Matt says, wasn't it? It was all sort of airy, fairy and light and bouncy. But it did re-evoke those characters, didn't it? And those relationships.
Yeah, and I think what I actually liked, it reminded me of, yes, there was definitely some similarities, but actually it reminded me how different the companion themes were from each other. As in, I think there was a different sound to Rose versus Amy. I think there was a different sort of feel with Martha versus Donna. But I do think he does have certain things he goes back on, but I think actually he does try, and at least he knows it's a different character, so he tries to match it to the character. And he also spoke very much about how that's his inspiration for Doctor themes and character themes.
Well, majority of composers do that anyway, but it depends on the actual theme itself, if it's I guess if it's good for your ears, basically. But I mean, with Murray Gold stuff, I can't remember any of the themes for any of the companions with his music at all. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. If you remember it, Charlotte, I guess.
I think if you heard this, I think if you heard it, you'd probably think, oh yeah, I remember now. You might find yourself humming along because they used a lot of them so often.
I don't know. I can't remember them though, but I'm not a fan of Murray Gold though, to tell you the truth. I've got nothing of Murray Gold's up there. I've got David Arnold and stuff like that, but Murray Gold, his music's okay. You know, it's better than most composers on TV.
I think it's better than a lot of TV
Yeah,
composers
he is.
as well.
He is. But I don't know.
Electric Bull says, I love the piano and the singers, but everything else in there is too much. This expression is coming up a lot, that it's too much. Wendy says, I'm liking it more on each listen. It's just a bit overloaded, as I said earlier on. Whereas Darren, he's a little harsh and says Murray Gold's he's phoning it in.
I kind of agree with him too. I mean, as I said, there's nothing really new about this theme at all. You know, because we've had the choir. You know, we've seen that a lot in New Who, haven't we? And heard it in a lot of New Who.
I don't think they've used it on the signature tune before. Have they, Jack? I don't think they have.
I don't think so.
There's nothing they can do. There's nothing more they can do to. I'm not a composer. I'm pretty sure that a really talented composer can bring something new to that theme. But as far as I'm concerned, if they're going back to Russell T, it's going to be like this anyway. And it's very much sounds like when David Tennant was the Doctor and when Matt was the Doctor. So, you know, that's what they're going for, I guess. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Millie's theme is lovely, says Harry Palmer. They premiered 2 other pieces of music as well associated with Ruby Sunday and the 15th Doctor. We'll come to him in a moment too. Listening to the concert, says the classic 80s fanboy, Sagan Akinola's music sounded so much better when played with an orchestra. And yeah, there was a suite too of Sagan's music tucked away in there as well. Yeah, before we leave the theme tune altogether, we did conduct a poll across social media to see what people thought of this. Now, firstly, we polled the members of the Type 40 Facebook group over there. We've got the results of that. So I asked simply, I don't believe in very complicated polls, Jack. I think you should ask people the simplest of questions. Yeah. Do you like it or don't you? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Yeah. And all of you out there in the Type 40 Facebook group, you came back that 28% of you like it, 29% of you dislike it, with a big 43% right there in the middle. So obviously finding it neither one thing nor the other quite inoffensive. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Charlotte. If it was the general public, it's probably quite a good thing. But if you're talking about a bunch of fans, that's not necessarily a good thing. That most are pretty ambivalent. Yeah,
I'm surprised it was such a. I thought it would have been more definitely a yes or a no. I'm surprised there was a big chunk that's like in the middle.
Yeah, we've got another poll as well because we ran one on Twitter too, which is obviously completely open to anybody on Twitter rather than our friends in the Type 40 Facebook group. And this is what it said over on Twitter. So we got a decent chunk of people, over 100 people voted, and 49.1% came in at I like it. Just 17% said I don't like it. And the middle, it's still a good chunk of people in the middle at 33% there, but nowhere near it. I think that's a comfortable win for the like. They're clearly pleasing more people than they're not out there generally. So I'd say this is quite a positive thing. I don't think anybody's particularly switched off by it, but I am troubled by the fact that both middle columns are quite big. I think we want people to feel a little bit more than that. Yes, it wasn't just the new theme tune that we got. We got other brand new music too. So we did get what was it called? What's this actually called? Because if I get it wrong, people will be very cross with me. So we got The Life of Sunday, and this was a kind of waltz style of theme, wasn't it? It's supposed to be played on the piano, and apparently the character of Ruby Sunday in the show, and is going to be a bit of a pianist, so she may play this herself. And it sounds very mournful. A lot of people play the piano though, Matt. I mean, it's a lot of kids learn the piano, don't they?
I can't. Well, I can't. Not with my hands.
So have you heard that? Anybody?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, put your hand down.
Are we playing that or not? Because I haven't heard that one.
I'm not going to play that one now.
Okay.
No, I thought he was going to play it. I was ready.
I'm not going to play it all. Everybody can find it. It's out there for everybody to hear. So, what did you think of that one then, Jack? Because it's very distinctive, isn't it? It's it's very particular to that character, and because we haven't met her yet, it's hard to know what to feel.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of how I felt about that one. I didn't necessarily dislike it. I was trying to get this theme into my head and how it relates to the character, because we know very little about this character apart from that. I think she's meant to be adopted. I think I think they could.
So I believe.
And I was just trying to think, okay, maybe she's dependent on music or something as perhaps like a coping mechanism. Because I think they also said at the concert that part of her arc is trying to find her parents or something. So I don't know, maybe she expresses herself through music and that's why she plays her own theme or something. But yeah, I couldn't really get into that one too much, but maybe once I get to know the character a bit more, I might feel a bit different.
That's the thing. How about you, Charlotte? What did you think of that?
I was surprised because for me it was quite sad and a little bit dour for a theme. For me, it's almost had, and it was slow, like, because it's a waltz. It is if you've ever heard traditional waltzes, that's what they sound like. They can be a bit slow. They can be a little bit sort of dour. So that's the kind of dance. So so now I can't help but think, is she got quite a sad backstory, this character? Has she got almost...
From what Jax said, maybe then.
Yeah, like, because obviously Rose, she had like, I don't like my life, but she still had a good mum. She still had quite positive things in her life. Even Donna, even though mum nagged at her, she still had Wilf. Whereas just off this theme, I almost got this vibe that the character's almost standing alone a bit because of just the music that was in it.
I feel Ruby's music felt like it was telling us a story and maybe involves finding her birth parents this Time Lord 2023. That's what you were saying, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah.
Not another family. So pleads Peter Harrington. Yeah, it sounds like Millie's character Ruby hasn't got a family present in her life, or at least not a conventional blood relatives family. I thought Ruby's theme was okay, says Tony L.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and that's the general lay of the land with that. Yeah, it's hard to get a feeling for a character that you haven't met yet, and we haven't even met the new Doctor yet, have we? We haven't really met the 14th Doctor. Never mind the 15th. Yeah. But the other big premiere that was part of this was a theme simply called 15, which goes with the Ncuti Gatwa's incarnation of the character. This is also absolutely everywhere, all across social media. I'm thinking that even if you haven't seen the concert, you must have heard this. Have you heard this theme, Ian? Have you heard 15 yet?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, well you're in luck because it is. Yeah, this is it, because this is the point in the show where we say you can either go and top yourself up, top up your
or
drink,
listen to it,
or visit the smallest.
I'll watch it in a rerun.
Smallest room in your TARDIS, everybody. Because although we usually have the Type 40 live ad break, I thought this time we'd go for something slightly different and have ourselves a musical interlude instead. A chance for you to hear this track in full if you haven't already. This is 15. See if it grows on you. If you're not convinced, or you can hum along whilst you're doing whatever there, because it is. Yes, Ian, you're right. It is wee time. We'll be back. Of course we will. Of course we will in a couple of minutes. Check out 15. Let us know what you think when we're back in a couple of minutes. Hey, yes, here we are again, everybody. Back? Are you back? Are you sorted out? Are you fixed? Are you straight? That's what we need to know. Yeah, back with Type 40 Live.
Yes, I
your
am.
live streamed Doctor Who magazine shows. I'm still here with the panel, and we're getting stuck in. You're okay, Matt? You're all present
Yes.
and
Yes.
correct.
I'm
We've
swinging.
got Ian David Diaz. We've got Charlotte Shields. Well, tuck yourself back in, buddy. We've got Jack from the Nerd Den there, and Matt Pott, our real-time traveller there on the bottom. Yes, so we've been talking about the Doctor Who at 60 concert here, and we're going to get stuck into some more. You've just heard 15. That's the theme for the 15th Doctor there. Each Doctor, like the companions, have had their own theme, haven't they? And we instantly recognise all of those, don't we? Madman with a box and I Am the Doctor and all these kind of things. They really get their money's worth out of those themes when they do put them on, don't they? But that's the brand new one. It's simply called 15. And what did you make of this one, Charlotte? Have you played it very often? And are you feeling it? Are you feeling this incarnation that we're not going to meet again for another few weeks?
This was the one track that I was really looking forward to because I feel like this is the first bit of Ncuti's Doctor that's given us any clues to what he's going to be like on screen. Because we usually get that off the costume, and we're not getting that, and we've talked about that previously. So the music for me was, come on, this is my first touch, I feel like touching point to this new Doctor. And I actually think it does a lot of really clever things, and it's really good. I like how it has that march, that do going all the way through it.
Yeah.
Because I think that gives you a clue possibly to what this Doctor's going to be like. For me, it's this idea of whatever situation he's going to go into, he's going to go in head first. He's going to have that momentum. He's going to shoot. Yeah, he's going to, because I had my brother listen to it as well. And I didn't say anything to him. I just said, here's the new Doctor theme, because I didn't want to colour him. And he said the exact same thing as me. He said, yeah, this Doctor's... I liked how he put it to me. He said, he's going to come across as like an everyman, but actually he's going to be like a champion and he's going to go for it. And I think that beat, that caused the idea of trumpets as well, and the sort of how full it is in bits.
It's very brash and heroic, isn't it?
Yes, for me, this is a very heroic. This is a very adventure Doctor. Because, like with Matt's, you got more of the wacky quirkiness of his Doctor. With Tennant, you got a bit more of the romanticness with him. Whereas with Ncuti, this is a Doctor that I think he just wants to get out there and he just wants to experience it. And that's what I think this show needs right now, honestly. We need to feel that our hero is back.
Yeah.
And when I heard this scene, I was reminded of I'm not into Western movies, but I was reminded of Western films. Do you remember how they used to, in widescreen, and a graphic would open up that said in cinema scope? It felt musically to me like the universe was sort of opening up. And it's the kind of music you want to sort of punch the air to. I couldn't get this piece of music out of my head for days, 3 or 4 days, playing it over and over again. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And it really does make me hopeful, if not for the series itself, then for the scale of the show, and that they're trying to re-evoke that sense that this is a proper hero that people can get behind. So you're the guy who's into the movie scores. What are you picking up from this? Does this feel next level at all?
To be completely honest, it's okay. It's not next level at all. It's very much Murray Gold. I always find Murray Gold's music. If you imagine a line that will punch through your emotions, it's below. It's just slightly below the line, in my opinion. Again, I'm comparing them to composers that I really love, like Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams, and James Horner and David Arnold and stuff like that. I think they have that thing where they can reach your emotion. They know what note to play to reach your emotion. And I don't think Murray Gold has that yet. Maybe if he keeps going, he probably will. But it sounded like,
that's quite
for me, the emotion.
It's a very different take, though, isn't it? From that we hear a lot. A lot of people do feel very emotionally touched by stuff. I'm pretty indifferent to Murray Gold myself. I don't hate him, don't love him,
and I don't hate him either. But I think he's, as I said, I don't think he's as talented as the composers I mentioned. Obviously, But as I said, those composers can reach you emotionally just by using a note or whatever. But I don't think Murray has that yet. I don't think it sounded like it was a brass band coming down my road. That's what the image that I got from the theme of the Doctor. Now, as far as I'm concerned, right, if you're going to write a theme for a hero, there has to be something that's gentle and strong. If you write a theme for a hero, and maybe a bit of weirdness because the Doctor is a bit
something
weird.
A little maybe more romantic than that, because it's quite brash.
Well, not romantic, but mixed within that theme. And I don't think Murray Gold's given us that. I think he's given
because
us...
Indiana Jones is the theme from Indiana Jones. That's quite romantic, isn't it? It's really
well, it's the Marion theme. Marion theme is connected to that. Indiana Jones theme is obviously the march, the Indiana Jones march, when he does something heroic. But then when you listen to the theme, it does have that magical moment about. Same thing with Superman. Same thing with James Horner's score for Star Trek 2. It's very much, you know, he puts like bits in there where you know it's that character that's coming. You know, Khan's going to attack. He has those things in there. But as I'm saying, I know a lot about music, composing music. I'm not a muso at all. But you know, it's okay. It's okay for Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, Doctor Who needs to just bloody push out of the thing and be something great. But it's not there yet, in my opinion. Sorry to upset people, but that's just the way I feel.
Love that part there, especially the more emphasized trumpet with the second repeat of it. That's very technical, Aidan. But that's his take on this. Are you feeling that anymore, Matt? You know, you're not getting much out of this so far. Does that lift you a little? Something that really does feel quite new.
I agree with Ian, but I think it was slightly better than what he's done in the past. That's not saying a lot, but for me anyway. But I could see Ncuti's Doctor actually running with that music. So, you know, maybe there's something there. We'll just have to wait and see how the two meld together. And if it shows anything that, you know, that Ncuti is the Doctor, then, you know, I'm on board. But
it's got some nice counterpoints, says Problem Being, Matt. That sounds like a technical term too. Do you have any idea what he means? I don't.
No idea. But then I'm not a musician.
Mine.
I mean, you know, everybody could say that this music's fantastic, and I'd probably, you know, everybody says that Taylor Swift is the bee's knees, and I can't stand her. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
A touch of Barry Gray in there too, says the Darren Zone. He's the guy who did the Thunderbirds music, isn't he? That's yeah.
Yes.
Charlotte's got it as usual, right on point, says Carol. And John says, for the ending of it, I feel I'd heard it before. It reminds me of the 10th Doctor's era with the Runaway Bride type music. Yeah, it is. It's quite that version of the show, that sort of comic booky, high adventure version. I think we're going to get very much an extension of that. Thanks, Charlotte. Again, you've got me far more interested in the new era than any trailer. So there you go.
But at an interesting point, I would ask you guys, because also my brother had another comment. And he also said to him, and the more I've listened to this, I can sort of understand what he meant to me. He said it reminds me of, so he said to him, it reminds him of older sci-fi, like more back in the
Older movies?
not modern. I don't know if anybody else gets that vibe.
More when sci-fi films, before they went dystopian, when they were more like pure adventure films.
Well, yeah, he even said to him, the march made him think...
with the theremin?
But he sort of said to me, because he gave an example, and he said it reminded him almost of Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
Oh.
No way is that like Star Wars.
No.
Well, no, with
I
the
thought you meant like something
else,
like Day the Earth Stood Still or something, like that old.
It's that section where you get the blaring, da 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 da. You know, I think that's what he means.
No, it doesn't.
I think it's more of a Western, like Dan said. You know, it doesn't, and maybe that's the reason why I do like it, though, Dan, because I like a good Western, like, you know, Once Upon a Time in the West or something like that.
But the thing is, though, I'm being a bit unfair because you have to see the theme with what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm being a bit unfair. I'm only reading it as as just the plain music itself. I'm not impressed with the plain music myself, but it might work with the visuals and him running around and doing whatever he does.
These are the themes.
Well,
These are the films that they get multiple use out of, aren't they, Ian? They take bits for the sad bits, and then they, just as Matt said, they use the big bits for when they're running around. So they sort of take elements of that 3 minutes and use them where applicable. Lord Thoth says it's a good set of music, but really simple. That's probably quite a good thing. Ian raises a good point, says the timescales. I don't agree with him, but it's a good point.
Thanks, mate.
I'll be honest, I like what I've heard of the new Doctor Who music, says Simon Ashley. And Lord Thoth says, I'm a drummer. I'm into beats and percussion. Garbage says it's very repetitive. And Lord Thoth says it's garbage. So Garbage says it's garbage in the live chat. That's very, very confusing. And Peter Harrington simply hopes that there are some corridors for people to run up and down so that they can set that music to some corridors and we're away. We're there. Star Wars, another mention of Star Wars there in the live chat. Early sci-fi, westerns and musical crossovers. I think some people can get where you're coming from with where your brother was coming from. And there's people dropping musical technical
Star Wars
terms
is a western, really.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Aiden says there's no point in trying to convince these guys. Do you mean these guys? These two guys?
And I think, if
you don't feel it, you don't feel it, do you?
I personally think that because I'm honest, people think I'm negative about Doctor Who. I'm not negative about Doctor Who. I want Doctor Who to work. I want to like this new version of Doctor Who. But I have to be honest, what I'm seeing so far is not really turning my wheels.
I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
this is an interesting comment here. This is an interesting comment, Ian. In light of that, from Lord Thoth, he says, I just got up and went and got a cuppa. I was humming that song. So does that mean I like it? I mean, the truth of the matter is, Jack, we've got a phrase for things like this, an earworm. Does it matter if we like it or not, if it gets in there? Because I suppose if it gets in there, is that the job done?
Well, I mean, there's some, cringe songs that are released by some modern artists out there, but you end up singing them out loud randomly. I mean, I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber, but I've sung that Baby whilst under the influence a few times, and I'm certainly no fan of it.
I know how difficult it is for Murray Gold to actually, and any composer actually, in today's world, to actually evoke an emotion these days, because the playing field's completely different when it comes to TV shows and movies and stuff like that. But all I can say is, if you're watching the film E.T. and you take the volume off, the emotions are completely gone. That music for E.T., what John Williams did for E.T., evokes everything that you see, and that's why people cried and stuff like that. I'm not saying that Murray Gold should be like that, but that's the idea for composers. That's what they should aim for, because the notes and the music is all about emotion. It has to heighten the emotion that's happening on screen, and I don't know whether that theme just now that we heard is going to heighten what Ncuti's doing. So as I'm saying, it's not right for me to judge it when I haven't seen it with the pictures. Do you know what I mean? So
it's tough. It's okay to say whether it floats your boat or not.
Sorry. It will be interesting because I saw a few people in comments when they listen to this in the YouTube videos say, do you think we're going to get a variation on this?
Probably.
Because they would do that in Modern Who in times. Maybe they did it in Classic, I don't know as well. But I know Modern Who, they would either just have the full extended version of a Doctor theme and then the shortened version. And I think they did sometimes have those slightly, what you've said, that more emotional version of a Doctor's theme.
Yeah.
Because I can remember with Matt, I'm sure they had one for Matt where it was different. And when he was doing certain scenes, it would play.
Yeah.
And it would go with the emotion that was happening in certain episodes. So I'm intrigued if we're going to get any variation on this.
To talk about emotion, I mean, the thing that I hear people talk about a lot with Murray Gold, particularly Sarah Graham, she loves Murray Gold stuff. She's got all the albums, and she's far from alone. A lot of people talk about the emotion of those episodes and that music and how it's moved them to tears, how it stays with them. throughout this, we get the themes like "This Is Gallifrey" played. We get the song from "The Rings of Akaton" played as well. We get Doomsday, the recap of Doomsday, the music that's used when Rose is on the beach, and all those things that went on in that 2-part finale from back in 2006 that everybody seemed to watch. There's elements from the Peter Capaldi stuff as well. Am I a Good Man? All those things, and the Shepherd's Boy, that sort of melancholy theme that they use in that. I think that was used in Series 9. So there's a good mix of tracks in there. But the one that stood out for me in this was Abigail's song. That's the one that Catherine Jenkins sang in the 2010 Christmas special, A Christmas Carol, wasn't it?
Best thing about that episode to me.
Again, I'm not a big fan of Catherine Jenkins or of operatic music. Generally speaking, that stuff doesn't work for me. And at the time, I've got to be honest, I didn't really. I was not. It's the same with me and Maury Gold. I didn't like it, but I didn't particularly dislike it. But when I heard it again at this concert, I found it incredibly emotional, and it made me want to go back and watch that episode again. I thought it was lovely, and it felt so Christmassy. They played that, and Catherine Jenkins wasn't there to sing it. They got another woman. In fact, she was just as good, if not better. But they performed that partly in tribute to the late Michael Gambon.
Yeah, but Dan, when you hear the orchestra play, like I've been to many concerts in the Royal Albert Hall, listening to David Arnold play live. When you hear the thing live, it's amazing. Like I went to see Ghostbusters with a live band. Do you know what I mean? A live orchestra. And when you hear the music like that right in front of you, it does spring up the emotion, and it brings a different dimension to it. I actually think that the American composers, well, barring a few British composers, are pretty good at doing that. You know, evoking the emotion. I think there are a lot of British composers out there that haven't got a clue of how to evoke emotion. It's all to do with the instrument that you use. Do you know what I mean? And I think even David Arnold actually said it once about British composers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think Murray Gold's okay, but I still think he hasn't. He
picked some good people to work with. I think the Catherine Jenkins collaboration was particularly successful. Got a comment here. We're talking about talking about Catherine Jenkins. Darren Bradley says in the live chat on YouTube, "I've been in her dressing room. Unfortunately, she was decent." Better luck next time, Darren. I feel your pain, buddy. I feel your pain. We're joined by lots of other music critiques in the live chat too. Hey, or you've just helped me think what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to watch all the season finales of Doctor Who from 2005 up to 2022 and the specials. My God, that'll be an emotional weekend.
Yeah, I love doing that. Sitting there, love watching it.
A live orchestra is a wow. Hairs go straight up.
Yes.
So there was a lot of stuff to enjoy in there, but it has to be noted that there was a lack of classic series music. Considering it's supposed to be a 60th anniversary concert, it was very Murray Gold heavy. They did tell you that at the start, and it was there in all the publicity, wasn't it, Jack? But I was surprised how little of Doctor Who history was in there.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not that surprised because, look at the 50th. I mean, you had stuff like an Adventures in Space and Time and stuff, which was, great, but you didn't really get anything else, really. Okay, 5-ish Doctors, but in terms of, really representing the
Night
era
of the Doctor.
I guess that's kind of like a New Who hybrid, really, but I wish there was a bit more classic representation. And there are some good, pieces of music from Classic Who, but it's just.
Do you think there's a reason, Jack, that they don't talk about as much about Classic Who?
To be honest, not from the top of my head, no. Unless the focus is to purely go for the eras that people connect with, modern audiences connect with more, like original RTD, earlier Moffat eras. Because, Matt Smith and David Tennant, so from series 4 to 5, they're generally praised as, by many, the perfect series of the show. So maybe that was the reason. I don't know.
The simple fact of the matter is, though, as much as I adore the music that was used in the Sea Devils and the Five Doctors and the Leisure Hive and any stories you could possibly name, most of the music from Classic Who, I love it. But the simple fact of the matter is, it was instrumental, and it was used quite sparsely a lot of the time. And most importantly of all, in 2023, is that it's not as easily marketable.
To be fair, that's a good point.
Okay, a lot has changed. Not only, as we said at the top of the show, that the series has gone, if not cinematic, the series has broadened out, and also a lot of this music. There's not entire sort of themes that last 3 or 4 minutes to any of the classic stuff. They tend to be little passages, little beats that get used over and over again. I adore it all. I do. I think they could have. Now, the medley that we did get was about 4 minutes, and it was all performed by Peter Howell, who's now 75 years of age. Here he is blowing on something, Ian. It looks like a miniature crocodile. I'm not entirely sure. So Peter was there, and so was Mark Ayres, and they performed it. They performed it all there in front of the crowd, who looked charmed and riveted and amused, and all the things that you'd expect them to be. And it did re-evoke a lot of memories, if not of my actual childhood, because I wasn't around when some of the Sea Devils was done, for example. But there were bits of it that they did play that really did take me back there. There was just a couple of moments from the Eye of Orion music from the Five Doctors that just made me get quite sentimental, Matt. I wouldn't say overcome with emotion, but I was quite sentimental when I heard that.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I mean, I hear any old music and I'm just like, oh, I wish.
Well, it has a lot to do with the actual episodes themselves. Like the Five Doctors, so ingrained in my mind. I know every inch of that episode. So I guess it depends on how you feel about your era.
Because we've lived with those themes for 30 years.
And another thing I was thinking of was because they used a lot of, like synthesizers and stuff like that, whether or not they make them like that anymore, or whether or not you'd have to try and pull out a dusty old synthesizer.
Like this one? Like this one that Peter Howell's got here?
Yeah. It's like a lot of that music, especially around, the Peter Davison era and that. I mean, I love it. I just love that tune. I just love it. I just love everything about it, that era. It's just, and, that invokes to me any sort of, thoughts of, times gone, but yeah, it's, it's interesting to know.
With my friend, I like to drop a name here, Dominic Glynn, because I'm very pally with Dominic Glynn. And when he was doing Doctor Who, it was very limited what you can do on the keyboard, right? But when he did, I hate to say this, when he did my movie, technology had moved on, so he could evoke an emotion, and he could imitate strings and trumpets and stuff. Like trumpets weren't so good, but he could imitate, an orchestra, and that was my brief for him. Imitate an orchestra for me, even though we can't afford an orchestra. He did it very well. So there are people that actually can take, the Casio keyboard and actually imitate something and know what bits doesn't work for whatever. But as I said, now you've got an orchestra in front of you. There's no excuse to actually not evoke an emotion if you have a freaking 10-piece orchestra right in front of you. Do you know what I mean? So
I think that they could have.
It's really hard for them.
I think that they could have, with hindsight, I think that they could have, in a 2-hour runtime, have perhaps had 2 inserts of classic series music there, good, rather than, just as Carl says in the live chat, the classic suite that they played was the same as the one they played 10 years ago at the last celebratory concert. And whilst I would never accuse those men of being lazy by any stretch, I think if they'd have been given a little more time, perhaps they'd have done something a little bit more, little bit more, Jack. Because I do love this stuff, and maybe that could have just broken up, if only it's just to break up the relentlessness of the orchestral stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and it adds a little bit more variety as well, because that's the thing with Murray Gold's music. As much as I find a lot of it iconic, and I think as well that's also another reason why it's used, because when you hear some of those soundtracks, you think of moments that have been used. Like you think of, I don't know, The Shepherd's Boy, you think of Heaven Sent, or maybe part of Capaldi's Regeneration. But yeah, I think when it comes to adding, a bit more variety with Classic Who, maybe play them a little bit differently, because if they sound like they did from the last one, that was 10 years ago. Like,
Pull your finger out, boys. Pull your finger out.
Yeah, exactly.
It felt like to me at times listening to the whole 2 hours, like they had a lot they wanted to do, but they didn't have the time to do it because it felt like you had this weird hybrid at times that they had little interviews in between and they were doing little bits of, oh, this is this episode. So they were trying to do stuff that was links to the show and having the people they had brought on. But then they only had the 2 hour slot and they had certain suites you could tell they wanted to do, which left not a lot of time, it felt like, to get some of the other stuff that I agree with you. I think having, because that's my other thought, even though I adore Matt and I was going, oh, there's a lot of Matt music here. Like, I felt like certain Doctors really got a bit shortchanged just in general, whether they were classic or not.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though,
could have had more music.
Was this Murray Gold? Was Murray Gold involved right up to Peter Bocaldi?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're bound to get tired. How many years was that between, between Chris?
12.
Right. That's what I'm
years.
saying. So you're bound to get tired of trying to compose and stuff like that, and you just need a break. Do you know what I mean? And if he was there all the time, you can understand why the music had flagged. Do you know what I mean? The actual show had flagged, actually. Let's face it. So that's what I'm saying. So you can only do what you can do at the end of the day,
There's a good divide again in the live chat. People, I do love the Sea Devils music, says Peter Harrington. And Simon Ashley loves the music, the operatic music from the Rings of Akatan. So, I think there was probably something for everybody if you're a fan of New Who. There was a lot of Matt stuff in there, come to think of it, Charlotte. But in my view, that's probably when Murray did his best stuff. I don't think I was aware how much I loved I Am the Doctor until I heard that at the start of this concert, and it really set me up for the entire 2 hours. Hearing that, it took me right back to watching those episodes with my twin boys when they were really little.
Well, for me, like anything with Matt, it's like my comfort zone. But I've always said this. I think I'm the Doctor is actually one of the best modern themes because it has multiple layers to it. It does so many different things. It has the bombasticness, but then it goes very quiet and it goes almost very sort of intimate with the sort of way it goes. And then it's back to bombastic. And then and I also think it's brilliant because it just matches Matt's personality. It's got the scattiness. It's got this
idiosyncratic and sort of wild almost.
Yeah, but like I said, but then the quiet bits make me think of when Matt wasn't doing the childish sort of clownishness.
He used to get all moody and broody, didn't he? He'd go into himself.
And
it's just a matter of opinion, isn't it? It's a matter of opinion. I mean, what kind of music you like, stuff like that. And I mean, I loved the Matt era personally. Just like Charlotte, Matt's one of my favorite Doctors, but I can't remember any of the music from Matt era, nor can remember a bit, I suppose, but I don't think Murray Gold's music is good, but I think it's right for Doctor Who. That's what I think. So anyway, whatever.
But this incarnation of Doctor Who,
this one, I don't know.
Series,
I don't know, mate. We'll find out, right? We'll find out.
As well as the composers, the classic composers, Peter Howell and Mark Ayres. There was some more guests too. So Emily Cook was there, later of Doctor Who magazine. And you could say that certainly I don't think the 60th anniversary specials would be happening if it wasn't for her. I think she probably saved the 60th anniversary by stimulating Russell to want to get back involved again. Whether she saved Doctor Who remains to be seen, of course, next year. But yes, she almost certainly, I think we credit her with sort of saving this sort of event. They spoke to Murray Gold himself, and he was quite, he seems a bit of an oddball, I think, Jack, Murray Gold. He seems eccentric.
I've actually never heard him speak, I've never seen him in an interview or anything.
They talked to Sagan Akinola as well. He didn't speak like I thought he would either. He was quite blokish. He actually sounded like a really nice guy. It's a pity his work on Doctor Who was so awful. But, I thought it was really
glad
nice
I never heard it.
He sounded like a really nice fella. Yeah.
It was awful. It was like just noise. That's basically what it was.
Did he do Power of the Doctor as well?
Have you
ever?
He
did,
yeah.
No, okay, that's fair.
If you're in the bath and you let a fart go, And you can just hear it in the bath coming off the enamel. It's what Sagan Akinola's music for Doctor Who sounds like.
It was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I remember hearing the very first episode. I remember hearing it. I was thinking, what the hell is this? But, that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people liked it, I guess.
But to be fair, he did. Well, no, a lot of people didn't like it, to be fair. It's been desperately unpopular.
Okay.
But I stress, whenever we slag off his music, I always feel duty bound to say that if you go over to his SoundCloud and listen to his other stuff, he is very talented. At least in my opinion, it's the kind of stuff that I probably would listen to. I just don't think he was right for this show at all. And I do hope that whatever he's moved on to now, that it's stimulating and takes him wherever he needs to go, because he does sound like a genuinely nice bloke. So yeah, happy travels, Sagan is my.
Did he have
general,
previous though? Yeah. That was the thing. Did he have previous history with other shows?
He'd done wildlife documentaries or something like that. It was mostly. I don't think he'd done any scripted drama before.
I don't think he had. No.
So he'd done squirrels before.
He'd done squirrels. he'd done flora and fungi. That's exactly it. So as well as speaking to and he sounded like a good sport, sounded like a decent guy. But of course the big ticket were the three showrunners that Joe Wiley got to spend some time with, chew some fat with. Three I'd call them compact interviews with Stephen Moffat, Chris Chibnall, and Russell T Davies. And I thought they were all fairly amusing. Again, Jack, pretty generic. She asked them the sort of questions that they always ask, how did you come for write for Doctor Who? Where do you get your ideas from? Are you glad to be back? All that kind of thing. Chris
How do you feel about destroying Doctor Who?
It looks like the cast of Sesame Street.
Full enough, she sort of skirted around that a little bit.
Exactly.
It amazed me hearing through the entire thing, actually, how Joe Wiley said at one point they were talking about that "I Am the Doctor" music, and she said, "Oh, this is the theme that tells you that it's during the 11th Doctor's era, and this was the music that told us that the Doctor had a plan, because doesn't he always?" And it was he. All the they stuff was all gone. It was all he.
Not exactly.
Mostly. Somebody did. I think Stephen Moffat snuck in sometimes a she, but mostly a he, and then he moved on. Yeah, it was a very much a sort of, I'd better say that now because people will be listening.
Yeah.
Is that just me?
Yeah, no, because Russell did it, I think, and it was very much I noticed that all of her stuff was he, and then with the showrunners, they were like he or she. It was just like, I'll say
why? That's what I'm saying. This is what I don't like. Why do they feel the need to say that? They should say what's in their heart. It feels false when they say that because they have to think about saying it. You know what I mean?
Believe me, Ian, because you haven't.
Fans? Jeez.
Because I can't stress it enough. If you haven't seen the interview, if you haven't heard the interview, then to hear Stephen Moffat didn't make a big thing of this.
Yeah.
You could tell he'd forgotten that he'd forgotten that a woman had played this part. It was that insignificant. Yeah. But they are partly PR people, if not for themselves, then for the brand, and they don't want to be deliberately dismissive of anybody out there who because there are 3 or 4 people out there who did enjoy the Whittaker era, and they don't want to leave them out.
You're terrible, Dan.
I don't know what you mean, but the thing, I thought these were nice little interviews. I think we could have been given a little bit more, particularly from Russell. But he was quite amusing and gregarious the way that he always is. And Stephen Moffat was very funny as well. He told a couple of stories we'd heard before, such as how he only had Jenna Coleman under contract for the 50th. He got no doctors and all that kind of thing. So I think Stephen Moffat actually was more entertaining than anybody else. But I thought this was pretty. Chris Chibnall, I can't remember a single thing that guy said. But to be fair to him, at least he was there. And but I thought Russell was a lot of fun. And when they played 15. The 15th Doctor's theme, they got him on, and Joe Wiley sort of mentioned about it, and he says, "Well, as you can tell, we've come back more subtle than ever," and there was an uproar of laughter. And I mean, my view is that the time for being subtle. There's a time for being subtle with Doctor Who in the 60th anniversary and the rebirth of the show, isn't it, Jack? I think they've really got to go for the throat.
Yeah, they really have, and I mean, I didn't look at the entire track list for what was played at the concert, but am I correct in saying there was only a couple of Jodies played?
There was a 3-minute suite that had been put together especially by Sagan Akinola, which he performs. There was precisely 3 minutes worth, and it was called The Woman Who Fell to Earth Suite. And it started with that familiar kind of theme that they had for Jodie, but after that, and I don't mean to be cruel, but after that, I just zoned out, mate. I zoned out.
Because that's the thing with Sagan's work on the show. I didn't mind 13's theme, and I think the Spyfall one was okay as well. But apart from that, I don't really remember any of the themes. And to me, again, I haven't watched the concert listened to the concert, but just doing a 3-minute suite kind of seems like a bit of an afterthought. It just seems like it's just thrown in there to be like.
It really felt like they were just doing it because they had to.
Yeah.
So because they get told off.
Probably what they did. Yeah, it's probably what they did.
More than that, it felt like the toilet break. It did. It felt like it's like now's the time to go and take a squirt. That's why.
The music can only be good if the scene is good. If what you're watching, you're emotionally connected to it, and that's the thing with composers. If they're working with nothing, what else can they do? Do you know what I mean? So like the bit in the 11th hour when he confronts the big eyeball, and you hear that dun 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 dun, you hear that, right? Mm-hmm. That is because that theme is there. Is because the scene is really good. When he says, now run. Do you know what I mean? It's the scene you remember connected to the emotion of the music. The music pushes up the emotion of the scene. If the scene is good and the music is good, they work in tandem, and that's how it's supposed to work. But with the Jodie stuff, nothing works. What else can you do? Beautifully
explained, Ian. Please like the video now, subscribe to the channel, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about what we're talking about next and when that's hitting you between the eyes and the ears. When it comes to this concert, everybody, this Doctor Who at 60, a musical celebration, I listened to the whole thing. In fact, I've listened to this 3 times. For the most part, I absolutely loved it. And even though I had watched every episode throughout the previous series, which I know that some of us have and some of us haven't, some of us stayed away, this has been the first Doctor Who production of any kind associated with this IP that's brand new. It's been the first Doctor Who production from the BBC that I have enjoyed in over 6.5 years. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And the fact that I've listened to it 3 times now, that's self-evident. Feels like Doctor Who's back, feels like it's been away for a very long time, and now it's back, which kind of leads me to believe, although I share your frustrations, Ian, and plenty of people who were saying various things in the live chat earlier on, I do think this did its job pretty damn well as just as an opening shot. I think if this was going to be the anniversary, Jack, if it was this wouldn't be enough. But as an opening event, I absolutely loved it, and I feel in my heart that Doctor Who is back. How long it's back for or not, I don't know, but it's certainly back for the anniversary. I know you've got to shoot off, you've got somewhere you need to be, but do you want to have your final say about how hearing what you have heard has made you feel?
Well, before I go, I just want to say, from what I've heard from the concert, it was good to hear some old beats and stuff like that, and to get an exclusive look
at beats.
And even though a certain part of it seemed to be like an afterthought, dare I say, but yeah. My only worry is that I think has been shared already is that the new stuff kind of seems like a rehash of what's already been before. And again, I don't know if this is to just be for the 60th or we're going to get something else for Series 14 in terms of the theme tune. But yeah, I'm just a little bit, just a little bit worried that nostalgia is going to take over a little bit, some nostalgia baiting. I'm just like, oh no, don't go there, please.
You can have too much of it, can't you? You can definitely have too much. You have too much nostalgia. It's set to go to the television after all, Charlotte, because we did speculate about that. It's on TV on the 1st of November this year, and it's going to be on BBC 4. So we are going to get to see it after all. So what's your final statement on this? I know, how many times have you played it, and will you go back to it again? And what do you think? Was this a fitting way to launch it, or was it just not quite enough?
I think it was lovely to listen to the music I haven't in years, because I have moods when I like to listen to Doctor Who, and I haven't been in that mood for ages, probably because of the Whittaker stuff and all the stuff that's been going on. So it was lovely. It felt like almost going back and listening to these tracks and these moments, because I connect moments to music. I always have. So I have a lot. Literally sitting there, I was having almost like a raw, like in my head, like a camera, just going, oh, this moment, this moment, this moment. And I was really, like I said, I was really a bit nervous, but looking forward to the newer stuff, because I am a bit like what Jack said when I knew Murray was staying for Ncuti. I was a bit I hope he doesn't just go back to what he's done before. I want Ncuti to have that new sound. I want that era to sound different, to not be a rehash.
Yeah.
And that theme, I've listened to the Ncuti theme quite a few times. And I'm going to be honest, that theme has given me a bit more hope for his Doctor. Obviously, I won't know proper until I see him. That's going to always be the ultimate test here. But his theme is giving me hope. And that was a big takeaway for me for this concert. So that's a big positive. And like Jack, I have to shoot. So
fabulous stuff.
See you all next week.
Thank you both for your company. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're going to go off to do. Have a great time, Jack. And we'll see you again next time at some point. I'm not quite sure. We haven't sorted it out yet, but we'll speak to you again next week. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate.
Thank you. And thank you. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye, mate. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank God he's gone. That's all I can say. Obviously joking.
Thank God he's gone. Yes, you're watching Type 40 live here on the Type 40 channel, on Rumble, on Facebook, and on YouTube, the world's largest streaming platform. You've got even more Matt Pot now than you could possibly handle. What's not to like? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check you're still subscribed, and
leave some bloody comments.
The comment section has been absolutely chock-a-block this week for one reason or another. So yes, thank you for all of that. Keep those comments coming, just as the man says. Recap then. So this was the Doctor Who at 60 concert, a musical celebration on BBC Radio 2. But you can get that. You can get it on the BBC Sounds app. You can download that to your smartphone, and you can play it over and over again, like I have been. Or you can simply wait for it to be on television on the 1st of November in a 90-minute, slightly truncated form. I do hope that because it's going down to 90 minutes, they're not going to cut the classic stuff. I think that would be a bit of an insult. And in all fairness, I hope they don't cut
that's going down.
I hope they don't cut the Sagan stuff as well, because he did turn up at the end of the day and he did do his thing. And
they definitely won't cut that, mate. You can tell they will never.
No, they wouldn't even.
No. So for me, the 60th anniversary is off to a good solid start, I have to say, and you can't please all the people all the time. And I know you've been a bit lukewarm, both of you, I think. Matt,
I don't mean to be negative, but, it's just like I'm so sick of people think that, that it's the greatest thing on earth, and it's not. But I suppose, the thing is that we come from another generation too,
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan. I think orchestras have been overdone. Sometimes it's good to try other things.
I agree, actually. Yeah, I'd be happy if they did move away from orchestras, if not altogether, then mostly, and maybe went a little. But they will. John Carpenter, a little synthy. I don't know.
But they do that though, Dan,
because
if you can't afford an orchestra for every episode. So what they do is they'll do the themes and stuff like that, and then they'll bridge it together with the synthesizers and stuff like that, because synthesizers can do a lot these days, and that will save the money. Every TV show does that. So
a lot of TV shows will reuse the same thing, the theme over and over and over again, so that they don't have to make new pieces.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, definitely.
For me, having listened to it all multiple times, it feels like a real reintroduction to Doctor Who. And as I say, it's the first thing I've enjoyed from the BBC. I don't care, the stuff on the Blu-ray box sets, that's different. I consider that to be its own thing. This is the first new thing that is about going forward. Yeah. And I found it quite electrifying and very moving in places. And a pretty good sign. I think it's a strong start. But they do have, and whilst I've got a lower bar than some, like I say, I'm very aware of the fact of where we are
Need to
we
get
are
out more.
where we are. Yeah, I'd love a retread of 2013, and ideally to be bigger than that. But we are where we are, and I think as long as we get a strong set of decent programming, then we're doing okay. We're doing better than we have for a number of years already. We've got some great comments here in the live chat. People dropping emojis that I've no idea what they are, but I like them anyway. How could I
Clapping
appreciate
hands.
them anyway? Is that what they clapping hands? Clapping hands.
I'm pretty sure so.
Good stuff.
Oh,
Yes, you can get that. You can wait for it to come on the television on the 1st of November or get it on the BBC Sounds app too. And leave us a comment once you do so. Let us know which your favourite track was. Did they miss your favourite out altogether? Or did they play something that you didn't know you liked that much, like me with Abigail's song? And what do you think of that brand new theme tune, that new arrangement of the fantastic Doctor Who theme tune, again by Murray Gold, and the stomping theme for the 15th Doctor there as well, that I haven't been able to get out of my head.
Stomping, right.
All week. Yeah, this is Type 40 Live. I think it's time we looked for one final round at some pretty pictures out there, because people have sent us the most lovely stuff. What do you reckon?
Go on in.
I'll ask you.
Very scary.
Oh, he's a miserable.
Davros is very hungry too. He's eating
Eating his mic.
Yeah. As ever, we're rounding things off with a look at the view screen, our regular peer up the temporal schism hole in search of the prettiest pictures from out there across the Whoniverse. And yeah, if you are a fan artist, or you know a fan artist, if you know a fan artist that you think should be on our radar, send them our way. Send us the links to see their work, to savour the fruits of their labours. Get them on screen for everybody else to have a good bloody look at as well, all in aid of celebrating the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. Of course it is. And this is the first one. There wasn't as much Peter Capaldi music in the concert as I was expecting, but we've made up for that with this fantastic piece of fan art there. Haven't got a name for it. I just saw it and thought it was wonderful, Ian.
It's nice. It says, in fact, he's still wearing, whose costume is that? He's wearing.
It's his costume, buddy.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure which. It's the torn one.
It's one of the first ones. It's pretty much the first one that he had, isn't it?
I think it's the torn one that he wore in Twice Upon a Time, if you remember. I think that's what the regeneration energy. The regeneration energy on his barnet, and he's got the blood around his cuffs, and it's all a little bit torn. But the nicest touch, I think, is the owl there. You know, Charlotte would like that, being a Harry Potter fan.
Touch of Bowie there. There it is.
Oh yeah,
from Labyrinth.
yeah, could be fantastic, says Crimpling Doubloon. It's the last one. Confirms problem being, and so does Moons of Madness too. It's all torn up from the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Could be, yeah. Natty Dresser was Peter Capaldi in his time, but he did let things slide a little. He did let things slide. The 15th Doctor looks like there's no shame of that. He's not going to be in anything for long enough to get it dirty, never mind all torn up. And that's been noted by this piece of fan art we've been sent here from Doctor. It's called Doctor of Disguise, and it's the various looks that we've seen so far, some of them from a distance, some of them up close. And this is the work of Owen Ruthven, who calls himself Timeless Owen, out there across social media. Nice bit of digital art, very amber, isn't it? It reminds me of Jurassic Park there, and the various sides to the 15th Doctor. He's putting the same face in quite a few of those, but that's a reminder of some of the outfits that we've seen over the last few months as we've been spotting shooting various outfits. Matt, none of these work for you, do they?
None at all.
What do you think
Maybe
about
the pinstripe? I like the pinstripe. I do.
You do. What do you think about the fan art? Owen's done a nice enough job presenting it there, though, hasn't he? In a reasonable way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not AI created, so that's good. You know, I'm not a fan of AI stuff, so yeah. I mean, it's not. Obviously he's used what's available, so yeah, it's not too bad.
Nice stuff. So I'm really trying to get a feel for this character, but when you see him in different things, he does have the feel of somebody. I think somebody mentioned a few weeks ago of Mr. Ben about it, and Doctor Who isn't Mr. Ben, is he?
No, he's not.
No,
oh well,
definitely
never mind.
It's like a doctor for every occasion, isn't it? Like
It is. It is something from the classic series. Now, I think is a bit of a palate cleanser and something traditional too from the fantastic artist Daryl Joyce. This is one of his latest pieces. This man has cranked it out all year for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and this one, I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. And I'm not even a massive fan of the Whomobile, but seeing it in action here, levitating, because it's supposed to be a hovercraft, isn't it? It can fly in. I think this. Well, you tell me where this is in. You'll know where this. It looks like Leicester Square to me. Is that where it is?
That's
nice.
Piccadilly Circus.
Piccadilly Circus. You'll get the wrong one.
Yeah,
you can just see the shadow there where it's raising ever so slightly, man.
I like that. That reminds me so much of the old Century 21 comics.
Yeah,
the illustrations they used to have, and also the cards that they used to have in the Wheat-Bix.
Oh, like PG Tips cards and Weetabix.
Yeah.
But this is definitely Piccadilly Circus. June. It looks like June the 50s, maybe, or because like the Piccadilly Circus doesn't look like that now.
I suppose it may have still looked like. I suppose a lot of the stuff that was put in there, installed in the 50s, was probably still there in the early 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. It doesn't look like today's world.
No.
Yeah. Cinsana Bianca, does that still exist today? I think it does. But it's it's not up there anymore. Nor is Coca-Cola either.
Says Peter Harrington.
Yeah,
Problem being likes this one as well. Lovely, very retro, Ian.
Yeah.
Insane. And he loves the Whomobile.
I love the Whomobile as well.
Back to the Future, says a bunch of Wallies. It does look a bit like the DeLorean taking off, doesn't it, from Hill Valley?
Because it only flew once, didn't it, in an episode?
Yeah, I'm just thinking why it's just a shame that none of the other doctors
could have been twice.
They always just pulled out Bessie. They should have just pulled out that one.
But that was very complicated. It was very complicated to maintain, apparently. So yeah, it was only. I think it appeared in 2 episodes. I think I'm not sure.
It's just 2 stories. Darren's in the chat and says my lotto dream would be a Tesla powered.
Brilliant.
And Lee says I would love a poster of that. Daryl, if you're watching this, I know he catches up on the show quite a lot. Daryl, if you're watching this, you probably should think about putting a poster out of at least this one. I reckon. Really like that. Yeah, I think you can find. He's got a website up there. You can find lots of his stuff out there. Character options. Give us a Whomobile. There's been a Whomobile toy speculated about for literally decades, and I think that Rob Ritchie on Twitter has made a custom one. He got so fed up of waiting, he's made one himself, 3D printed one. You can go and find that if you look up Rob Ritchie on X. Whomobile, says Moons of Madness. And even Ezra Goldstein, Ezra, you've not been a happy camper most of the show this time, but even Ezra's enjoying that there, the work of Daryl Joyce. Fantastic traditional and digital artist there, and his capture of the Whomobile in Trafalgar. Leicester Square or Trafalgar Square? No, Piccadilly Circus. Bloody hell. Yes, he only told me 5 minutes ago. It must be getting late. It's nearly time for us to wrap up with the Doctor Who 60th anniversary. So 50th, 60th anniversary is just kicking off. And to commemorate that, we have this glorious piece from the Thin King himself, a fabulous piece of fan art here with the 1st and the 15th Doctors. The first, Hartnell, first, everybody. Yes, we've got the 1st and the 15th Doctors there, both looking up into the sky and out into, the vortex, I suppose, to go off on their travels. And a couple of TARDISes, 3 TARDISes. 3 TARDISes.
Quite the contrast there, isn't there?
Yeah, big time. There you go.
I wonder what you think, William Hartnell. How do you think he would have looked in a kilt?
God, no! Don't even start me on that
one. He wouldn't have even dared. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think this is a nice piece here. I love how the Thin King has also faded out the black and white to the colour, even across the logo. I think that's a really, really nice touch.
Yeah, it is.
I like the TARDIS too.
Yeah,
that's nice. Brilliant. Says Tony L. And the Hartnell and a heart from Peter Harrington. Carol Jude says that Hartnell Gatwa is fantastic. Yeah, do we call him Shooty or do we call him Gatwa? Peter Capaldi, don't we?
Is this the first time the Doctor actually sporting a moustache?
Yes. In continuity, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've been asking for it for years.
The Doctor should have a moustache.
I really wanted Tom Selleck to play the Doctor at one stage.
That would be brilliant.
We live in hope, mate. We live in hope. God.
The thing is, it's probably not even a mustache. It's probably a caterpillar from the planet Zuros or something.
Probably. We've seen him with an afro. How does he grow his hair? Does he just jump into a pod or something like that on the TARDIS and press a switch and his hair grows? And then he can go out on an adventure with an afro. I don't understand how.
Yeah, like one of those giant hair dryers they have, the hairdressers, you know.
If we're lucky, we'll find out. We'll find out in time, won't we? I'm old school, Dan, says Ezra Goldstein. Good for you, Ezra. You keep going. You keep going. Problem being, says the ward doctor. The ward doctor had a beard. Yes, of course he did.
He did. He had a beard. Yeah. Yes.
Well spotted. Yes, I'd totally forgotten about that. I only watched it a few weeks ago. And reminds us, yes, hashtag Hartnell first. Never forget, everybody. Never let them forget. And don't forget the 60th anniversary. God, the 60th anniversary is on the way. Just 5 weeks to go until the date itself. We may get something before then. We may get something after then. I have no bloody idea. The dates are shifting all the time, as I understand it. The best
Just
way to
bloody
keep
announce them. Jeez, put us out of our misery.
I think they really should. It's kind of taking the slash. But we can, for our part of the bargain that we can hold up here at Type 40 Live, we'll be on it as soon as we can with regular live streams whenever we can about all the various developments and little productions that are going to start coming out now. There are more documentaries on the way, more about that next time, and lots more treats. Rewind. Lots more treats we're promised by new old showrunner Russell T Davies. 5 weeks to go, everybody. Thanks for joining us there in the live chat across YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook, where we've been streaming this edition of Type 40 Live. Lots of fantastic comments. Yeah, Paul says, I just wish they'd tell us, Matt. Wish they'd tell us. Everybody feels exactly the same way. We do. Vent your spleen in the comments section, as always, if you wish, or join us. Yeah, join with us, I should say, through our social media on Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. You can get in touch there and moan some more by all means, or come and do it in real time in the Type 40 Facebook group with regenerations upon regenerations worth of other Doctor Who fans mooning over the classic era and rewatching all our DVDs and chewing through our childhood memories too and sharing them as fans of new Doctor Who too. The next generation, and all of us are, even if we say we're not, all of us are looking at what's cited just a few weeks' time to be coming our way in all new Doctor Who from the 60th anniversary going forward. Another great Type 40 Live, all wrapped up. Everybody, thanks to you guys. I mean, first of all, thanks to Charlotte Shields and to Jack from the Nerd Den there for being here and for bringing it. All your observations, your memories, and your reviews of the brand new music that we've been given there a little early. It's weird to be given even the theme tunes and things like that in concerts on radio too, isn't it? Because a few years ago they probably would have premiered them in some sort of red button video. Ian, it probably would have been slightly different, but hey, at least we've heard it, and hopefully when the general public hear it. No, it still exists, I think, but they are phasing it out. I think they use it now mostly for sporting events. If there's sort of if there's two matches going on at Wimbledon at the same time and they can only put one on the actual television, they'll put another one on the red button. They kind of do that, really. Yeah, bit dull, isn't it? Yes, more Doctor Who is coming up this weekend. Don't forget those two brand new documentaries also on radio too. There's one on Saturday and one on Sunday. The classic series and the modern era, again introduced by Joe Wiley, and both of those last an hour each. We'll be back to talk about those next week and lots more besides here at Type 40 Live as your guides through the anniversary series and beyond. Please like the video, particularly if you've been here this long. Subscribe to the channel and check you're still subscribed, because we know what YouTube's like, and hit the cloister bell to get all the notifications about the podcasts and the live streams and the extra videos that are coming your way here from us at Type 40 Live. Matt, fantastic to have you back on the show, mate.
Thank
How's
you.
Friday looking so far? Obviously, you are a real time traveler. You're in Friday already. Is it looking okay? What's going on?
No, it's pissing down today. So
How is it?
very beautiful day yesterday, but not today.
Oh well, let's hope for Saturday, Ian. Let's hope it's better for Saturday. How about you? Thanks for coming on again, Ian. What have you got planned for the next day or two?
Nothing. I've got editing to do. Lots of stuff to do. You know.
You work too hard. That's your problem.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
And Mega Geek's work is never done.
It never is.
Never
is.
Yes, so we'll be back, of course, with more Type 40 Live next week. Hopefully, we'll have those dates for you, all the people. When we're going to have some dates, I suppose we'll all find out through social media at some point, hopefully in the next week or so. But yeah, that's it for this time. Have a fantastic weekend. Or if you're catching this later on, I hope you had a great weekend. Whatever it is, keep an eye out for the next Type 40 Live. We'll catch you then. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Toodle.